Feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Asia Cup Last Chance Qualifiers, day number 3, or week 3 rather. We're looking for the last 3 teams to join the other 5 in the main event tomorrow. Now, joining me with the cast today, we have Tajima on my left and also Start Clashing today. How are we doing? I know it's very, very early for you, Tajima, but you know, it's always awesome to join me in casting some of this action. I hope you've got enough caffeine in your system to last the night.
I do. Let's get it started. I'm super excited, Fu.
That's of this region.
But then again, Fu, it is gonna be a lot of fun, and I've been watching you guys, and I was very excited for this day to cast alongside you. And then again, the teams that we are about to cast, we have some of the best teams in the region. We have Global Esports, No Name. Then we also have Onyx Rise today. So I think it is going to be a great day.
Very well said. And I think that our first matchup, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be quite fiery already. We have Global Esports against No Name. And once that game gets underway, we'll be able to start today's action. Remember, tomorrow is the main event. And I down to this, all right? We want the top 8 teams that are going to be playing in tomorrow's event to have the most amount of preparation, but also prove themselves in these kind of like filter rounds. Because every single time we've had a last chance qualifier over the weeks, it's always around, like 8, maybe 10 teams, sometimes 12, and we just want the top 3, essentially. So it's getting into that grand finals, either through the winners or through the losers. These teams need to vie for their chance. Don't forget, everyone, today's event, yet again, is going to be hosted by INGAGE and also sponsored by EXA. Please check out their new headset on their website for all your gaming requirements. So once production starts us into the game, we're going to be able to see, what the vibe is like tonight. We watched a little bit of, I guess, some of the typical bans last week. A lot of Mimikyu, a lot of Miraidon, stuff like that. But there has been a patch since then. So maybe Tajima, maybe I'll start with you. Do you see any difference in the meta shift, or is it too early to tell since the patch?
I still believe that Psyduck is kind of a awkward ban pick. Like, it doesn't quite fit in the teams yet. So I think Psyduck's gonna be a bait pick. I feel like it is pretty OP, but again, it doesn't quite fit. But you do see the Psyduck ban as we get to the bans right here. Fu, take it away.
Yeah, this is just not a surprising for Pokemon. I think the Leafeon is probably more of a respect ban, but the Umbreon, Mimikyu, and Psyduck, that's so common right now.
Right. Also, we do see the queen herself, Serena, on there on the orange side. So really excited for that. Again, that buff, like you said, with the patch notes, really going. And I've seen a lot on ladder too, so it's definitely a really good mon to pick for sure.
It is kind of crazy that Serena is now prioritized so early on. I thought I would expect something more like the Blissey to be taken instead. But Blissey actually going on the side of Global Esports, Illusion picking that up. And somehow they're getting away with Miraidon, Blissey, and Urshifu, which I think is just one of the strongest 3 core.
Right, we do see the hover on the Cerulege, though. Cerulege is a great mon as well, too. Again, and the Eldegoss support. So again, this is a really cool pick draft overall on the side of orange, but again, we're gonna just have to see what kind of Global Esports is gonna be cooking. Oh, there's Zork. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so they'll instantly picking up the Zorak, which means that they're quite confident with this Blissey. Normally, we like to see Zorak with that Comfy as a typical duo, but I think Blissey right now works really well because he can choose actually between helping out Apple on the Urshifu or pocketing Sadal there, and Swifty going to end up their draft with Trevenant, and that's going to be responded by Blaziken. So 3 all-rounders, no ranged attackers on the side of No Name.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I'm pretty sure Global Esports Obito will probably go the Charge Beam because he's not running Shedinja. Run the Shedinja doll. So yeah, I'm a little worried for, again, No Name because they're just going to get Charge Beam down. And again, I guess Cyrillic does have that kind of like backline pressure as well as Blaziken, but we're just going to have to see Fu, you know what I mean?
I think it's going to be very important for these 3 all-rounders to access the Miraidon, and rightly so, because if they are going to be playing that Charge Beam as you predict, it's going to be a lot of damage from the backline, and I think the range that Charge Beam has, it's going to be very important to shut down. And I think that's exactly why Swifty and Apple are maybe picked, because they have lockdown potentials, right? Your Trevenant with your Horn Leech and your Woodhammer can shut people down to anyone that's accessing Obito, and I mean, the Ebon Fist on Urshifu literally just connects to one person and they're pretty much out of that game. So as we head on to this one, I'm very keen to see which team strategy works, right? Whether you're going to be that range, protect the president strategy from Global Esports, or we're going to be the run it down strategy coming from No Name.
All right, Fu, but then here we go. Best of 3, Global Esports. We're in the loading screen. Sorry about that. But yeah, so again, Global Esports, your purple side, and we have No Name orange. We're going to see how these jungles come together. I believe Zorak is going to come from the purple side. And we do see the setting screen, which is all good. And we do see the Cyrillic going into the jungle side on the side of orange.
Yeah, this is going to be very exciting because it is going to be a best of 3, right? But for the first game of the day, obviously these teams have been playing, but for us, it's kind of like a quick first pick into the action that they can bring. And for me, it's all about whether there's going to be an invade, right? Whether there's a Shifu that's going to go into that path, or you're going to send them to the central area. And look at the little Kupfu has taken the top path, so I do hope that the Zorak goes into that path and ambush and maybe help out this little Kupfu looking at level 5.
Yeah, Kupfu definitely needs that support, and that spike usually goes into the center, but if you have a Zorak, it's kind of like, who do you give the jungle to, right? But again, we do see the Kupfu up top lane, and then over here, we do see some nice engagements between both teams for these little engagements.
Yeah, Torchic bottom path is very interesting, and I think going up against something like Miraidon, the onus is really on the Slowpoke to help secure some of those neutrals. We have possibly a little skirmish coming up with the 850 birds going through the slash and dash, and the Fame attack is going to be nearly able to be taken out. The Cyrillic has to pop a quick full heal to make sure they stay in. We don't want to get KO'd so early on to give that experience on the side of Sadao, and he's going to start window shopping in the enemy central area.
Wow. Yeah, no, definitely securing your enemy objective jungle is actually really big. Getting XP in your favor because you basically take it away from them. We do see a skirmish up top. Orange, though, getting super low. Doesn't get it down. They're just diving back. And we do see the dubs coming up from Global Esports.
Oh, a safeguard choice for Illusion is going to be very, very interesting. That means effectively Sadao can just do whatever they want. There's not going to be any stun that can stop this Pokemon from coming in and dashing through the team. And Luna trying to get away now. Urshifu coming up level 5. That's exactly what Global Esports wants. And they're leading the levels as well.
Yeah, leading levels for sure. But again, this is a really big, powerful objective coming from both sides. We do see, is there going to be another skirmish? There is a skirmish taking the back line onto Yufu.
Oh, I mean, just having something like a Slowbo trying to catch a Zorak dashing in and out is going to be very, very difficult for him. Legend maybe caught out a little bit here, has to quickly run away. And I think Yumi's trying to do his best to try to keep this Pokemon from going to the Pokemon Center and starting that respawn. But, I mean, we have a defender and a supporter taking away your buffs. Things are not looking good for No Name.
Dude, what? Global Esports is literally window shopping, like you said, in the Team No Name's jungle. Like, you know what? Hey, I'm Trevenant. Hey, I'm Blissey. We're going to take all this stuff away from you.
And taking away, as you said, all of the farm seems to be soaked up by Global Esports now. Zorak nearly going to be at that level 9, having access to that Night for days. And here comes the Charge Beam, just really zoning and making sure that people start getting poked out from the side of No Name for this Zorak to clean up. And clean up do they go. Can we get a janitor in this aisle? And this is just an absolute domination coming out from Global Esports. And the entirety of their team is going to be zoned out here for a relatively uncontested Regirock.
Yeah, again, now we do have, again, the power spikes of No Name is there, but again, the levels of Global Esports and also the range from Charge Beam is really taking it to them. I don't know how they're going to come back from this move.
Oh, and here comes the Unite move. The Blaze Kick obviously not going to be able to do too much with that overheat. It's just the level lead is so high in the favor of Global Esports. The good thing about that is that No Name has the opportunity to come back there, but the Bliss Assistant will be able to stop any form of KOs on Sadal, and he's just going to have the time of his life.
Yeah, man, they're going to get the scores here. Actually, I don't think they're going to break because they're really in the lead. And then we see the Alecki coming up top. A big 40 dunk would be actually huge here. That's an overcap of a lot. I couldn't quite see the bottom of there, but that's a really big lead for Global Esports.
Hey, either way, 193 to 18 is quite problematic, I think, for Team No Name, and they need to look to maybe just try to get one. And once this Slowbro gets their slow beam up, I think that's going to make their lives a little bit easier. But for now, they have to stay resilient to the onslaught of the damage coming out from Global Esports.
And again, it's Unite, right? When there's a Ray, there's a way. So this could go in any way, but honestly, the momentum from Global Esports is really rocking it to Team No Name. But again, they're trying to get as much farm as they can on all their side of their map, kind of getting the momentum back, and we'll see what happens this top lane.
Oh, and maybe for the first time, we're going to get some more scores in for Team No Name, but the huge Horn Leech into the Revenant Rain will shut that right down. That's actually going to be a team wipe for Global Esports. So if things weren't going as well, it just got a whole lot worse.
All 5 synth Pokemon Center. That was insane. But again, great play from Global Esports. Do they get this Zorak? No, he just runs away. Blissy's still there. Assistant as well, too. They just run away and book it. And I don't know, Fu, do you think they should set up for the bottom objective or just kind of farm out their side of the map?
I think probably contesting the bottom objective is not going to be the play. Essentially, you know, seeing the fact that there's a level 12 Zorak on the side at like 5 minutes compared to your level 10, which is your highest level. I think the smartest thing to do is maybe get a top dunk and maybe just overwhelm that while you use that basement Reggie as a distraction. But they're not doing any of that because the Tremor is going to actually isolate the Elder Gods, and there goes another one. So it just seems like Team No Name is serving up experience on a golden platter consistently, and Global Esports just gobbling that up.
Yeah, I know. Who knew that this buffet was going to be this good for sure? But again, we do see the top objective coming through. Again, like you said, they're playing passive, which is very good. Again, as long as you're not feeding the enemy team, they do get some EXP in the center. But again, this is looking a little rough for, again, Team No Name.
Yeah, it's just no one can really contest this Zorak at the moment. But here comes a slow beam as I talk about that. And the Bliss Assistants are going to try to keep them in the playing field. And somehow, some way, Sadal gets away scot-free again. And I mean, Team No Name is just kicking themselves, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, again, they're attempting to get the skirmishes and get the catch BXP, but again, with these little key moments, again, like looking at all the HPs coming through, again, that's the trust in your team, right? Having that Blissey support. Again, Blissey has such a huge ability to be on that Blissey. Even the Slowbeam came out, even the Ren came out as well too from Cerulege, and yet to no avail, right? So again, good teamwork play from Global Esports for sure.
I think it's just the draft difference here. Global Esports has such a better draft on paper, and it's clearly shown in some of these matchups. And when you have Pokemons that, you know, don't go too well into each other consistently, it makes it very hard for the team to actually put up a good fight in those 5v5 situations. But there seems to be perhaps a push on this tier 2 for Global Esports here. Reggie is very close to going in, and all 5 members of Team No Name is just going to try to stop that from going on. But Swifty has something else to say as they Hornleech people into the war there. There goes the first KO of this fight, and the storm from the meteors will happen. Maybe the telekinesis will help. The safeguard is just going to be so good there as well. And I think Sadal running away yet again. Is that not just the same story we're seeing?
Yeah, again, good defense from Team No Name. At least the Lecky doesn't go through, but man, they need to just, I think they just need to rip. Again, who can they rip with? I don't know, but again, they're not too behind in points. I mean, again, it's 292 to 45, but it's not like 500 to 0, right? So again, if they just kind of flip Ray and get some scores, I think they could win it. But looking at Global Esports, they're a tough nut to crack for sure.
I'm also surprised Serena's going Stomp as well, because Triple Axel right now, from memory, is just feeling really strong after the small buff that it received. And I think Triple Axel isn't really too bad into that team. Obviously, Stomp is good into some of the range attackers like Maridon and maybe shutting down the Zorak. But if you have Safeguard anyway, there's no point trying to CC them at all, right? But the MFP is going to go up early onto the Shifu. That's... Oh my gosh, the slow beam might go down, but the slow beam into the Bliss assistance. Sadal trying to be kept alive, but they're going to be sent back to the Pokemon Center. So for the first time, one Pokemon's going to be down, but it's going to be traded out for 3 members of No Name though. So whoever actually got the better deal, it is definitely going to be Global Esports, and they're going to waste no time to clean up the last remaining members there. But the isolation coming out from the Trevenant once again, Blaziken, no chance, and it's going to be up to the defender and the support on their team to try to steal this Rayquaza.
I mean, again, when there's a way, you know, you got 2 Mons there with range, which is really good. You got the nice surf there, but again, the Dark Bear secure, definitely taking it down. Yeah, so again, great match. Definitely one-sided for sure from Global Esports. Fu, what do you think Team No Name kind of has to really do here? Again, obviously it was kind of a roll, right? But again, they're here. They got another game coming. What do you think they could do?
I think it's more to do with maybe the experience that these teams have gone through. I think Global Esports just have a little bit better drafting experience. And like I said, I was surprised at the start of the draft, the fact that we got away with Maridon, Blissey, and a Shifu in return for something like a Serena Slowbro. And I think just having a different prioritization, maybe picking up some of these mons away from Global Esports that you play anyway, might be more impactful. Just if you just look at the draft, right, the lack of range attackers meant that it was so hard for Team No Name to get any sort of free damage. You have to be up in the face of their team. And looking at the damage numbers, it's just paints the same picture, doesn't it?
Yeah. The only issue is though, like Zorak is a really hard character to play. I can't play him. Maridon, I can kind of play him, you know what I mean? But again, it's interesting, right? With the drafting, like you can try to draft a mon away from your opponents, but if you can't play them, then you have to play cover pick. I love Slowbro. I think Slowbro is great. But again, going up against the Trevenant with the Woodhammer, and again the Zorak. Team No Name. You know what? Again, it's game 1. I think they can do better in game 2.
Yeah, like I said again, I think just the picks don't have the best matchups in that team. Like Slowbro's not going to be able to do much to the rest of that team. I think Trevenant is such a better pick, and had they picked Trevenant with the Serena, maybe it would have been a different story. Yet again, first game, like you said, best of 3 scenario, it's all back to the drawing board for No Name. And, you know, if they do switch sides, depending on their choice, they will have access to that first pick as well. So whether they want to first pick away the Maridon or the Urshifu, right? Or even, you know, taking Umbreon if that's not banned and banning something else instead, that gives them a lot more freedom. So I'm curious to see what they do in the second game.
Yeah, and also too, as a Slowbro player, like going telekinesis is good, but I feel like I like running Amnesia because you can really tank a lot of damage, but again, the safeguard, just like the telekinesis, it was just like whoop, it was just gone. And again, like we said in other cats too, right? Blissey's running more safeguard, which is actually really interesting, right? Instead of usually like the egg. So, but again, we'll have to see though. Hopefully, again, No Name kind of getting the jimmies out. They've kind of felt out Global Esports because again, sometimes too in Unite, right? If you're too confident, that could get you, but again, Global Esports again, very poised and very solid. So we'll just have to see, you know what I mean?
I think it's the benefit for them is the whole 10-minute mechanic. The comeback mechanic is very, very strong in this game, where you could be losing maybe for the first 5-6 minutes, even 7 minutes sometimes. But if you do get some nice KOs, let's say the opposition team accidentally runs in, maybe they don't have a supporter. For example, if Sadal went down prior to that, they're going to be a level 14 character going down to something like a level 12. That's going to be able to boost the experience up for Team No Name there significantly. But at the same time, because Sadal is so experienced with the rest of their team as well, they know how much their Pokemon can take. And a lot of those instances, like, we thought that maybe the Zorak was going down, but it needed, at the end, a slow beam into the Unite move of the Cerulege and the Blaziken there, or to take down one Pokemon. But if you're going to be using all these resources for that one Pokemon, the reason why, instantly 3 of No Name got knocked out was because the rest 4 members of Global Esports were able to use their resources to take them out. So you can lose your main carry Pokemon, but if you're going to trade it out for 3, I think that's a better deal, isn't it?
Now, Fu, really quick, do you think with the Zorak buffs, do you think that's why we're seeing a lot more Zorak? Or, you know what I mean? Like, because again, Zorak wasn't really you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like into there, but we've been seeing a lot more Zorak. So do you think the buffs to it prior?
What buffs to Zorak, Taj?
Wasn't like 2 patches ago that there was like buffed and then not touched at all?
Oh,
But
right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not gonna lie.
buffed
I
and
don't
then not
remember
touched.
I'm not too sure what the changes
Okay,
were. 2 patches ago, unfortunately. My memory is pretty short. I do remember the recent one. And the recent, I guess the one before the really recent one was the Blissey, right, where the Helping Hand and Safeguard got changed and buffed a little bit. But I think Zorak's always been a great Pokemon, and that's probably why it's been banned out instantly for No Name here.
Yeah, again, I think they wanted to take that away from Global Esports for sure. They also got the Mimikyu ban and the Psyduck. See, I wish I could see more Psyduck in these matches, but I really don't see that it really quite fits in a comp. But again, it's just we'll see how this goes for these teams.
So as predicted, Umbreon will be the first pick of choice for No Name, and I think that's going to allow the Blaziken and the Miraidon, the Zacian's obviously still available as well. Those Pokemon are going to be coming out here, but especially that Leafeon, which probably was that respect ban in that first game, but Sadal is going to be very comfortable. I don't think Sadal really minds losing Zorak when they have something like a Leafeon.
Yeah, no, we'll have to see for sure. I mean, he's going to be in the same role, and again, they do have the Miraidon, and again, probably going to go Charge Beam as well. They do get the Blissey though, which is nice for Team No Name. And then we do see the hover onto the Machamp. Fu, what do you think about that one?
Interesting. Dynamic Punch is actually bugged at the moment where you do less damage if you have Dynamic Plus. So I do anticipate this is going to be a submission Machamp. And I think it's not a bad pick at all. It's kind of like a Pokemon that's quite self-sufficient and also able to get into the back paths of Team Global Esports and get that Miraidon. Yet again, Obito just picking that up. It's just so free for them at the moment if you are trying to force No Name to come in. And having a Crustle there as well with the Lucario, yet again, it's just so much frontline for them to think about. And if they do round up the draft with Clefable and this Gravity, I think that's going to be a little bit problematic for them.
Yeah, no, again, great draft coming from Global Esports again with the Clefable. We do see the Pikachu. I love Pikachu. Hopefully, I don't know if it's going to go Volt Tackle E-Ball because there's just so much going on the side of Global Esports. But again, the Mimikyu ban was great, as well as the Zorak ban. Again, they kind of had to. But again, Leafeon just went into the hands of Global Esports.
I think one sign of big confidence coming out from Global Esports is they're going to be running this comp without a supporter at all. They have committed to 2 attackers and a rounder, a speedster, and just a solo Swifty to tank it all. Whether that was a mispick or whether there is just oozing confidence, we'll see and we'll find out. But I think what the benefit now is for No Name is that they know that once they poke out the team of Global Esports, there's not going to be any way for them to regain that HP. So it might actually be okay for them in those final moments of the fight if they can get a good Machamp Unite or something like a huge Thunderstorm coming out from Sunflower, because that means that, Global Esports will be wasting time back into the home pad.
Fu, honestly, I think with Global Esports, it is kind of an oozing confidence. But again, that's what could bite you in the butt. Again, it's Unite. If you push too hard, they get the catch-up EXP. Again, not running a support. I don't know if that's too common, but again, Global Esports feeling pretty confident in themselves because they did great last game, But again, No Name on the purple side. Hopefully they could do well. But again, game 2, Fu, this is again No Name, your purple side, and then we have Global Esports on your orange side. We do see the Metagross taking the center lane, as well as the Greninja taking the jungle for the orange side.
Yeah, I think for the early game, it's going to be up to this Leafeon, Sadal, to really help, push against something like your early Machoke, your early Matang as well. And I don't think they're going to have too much problem, just because, Beldum, when they evolve in Matang, doesn't have the greatest ambush at level 5. And looking at the top path already, we just have pressure from the get-go, trying to secure as much farm as possible, and Lucario's going to go in for some attack weight stats.
Yeah, he does get the first score as well, too. We do see a little bit of skirmishes here or there. A lot of secures coming out from Global Esports. Again, Lucario just up there kind of doing his thing, just getting all the secures, being one of the best secures, early game for sure.
And a lane Frogadier getting just a blue buff is very interesting. They're kind of like splitting the experience, which makes sense because Leafeon only needs that one buff, doesn't it? We have a bit of zoning coming out from, I guess vision seeing coming out from the Greninja here, and you know, Illusion just looking to see what they can, you know, fly out to toss out the Razor Leafs, but most of it's actually gonna go on the side of No Name.
Yeah, no, that was good for Team No Name for sure. Any EXP is good. We do see a little skirmish right here. Does Leafeon go down? He gets the Salic Berry. Running away for sure. We do see the X-Tack get popped. Oh, and they're coming through. Do they get the KO? They do get the KO as well too. Matang gets it, and I would just back off if I was that guy.
Oh, this is just such a better start for the game than last one for No Name. I mean, having those picks on those early Pokemon means that Legend will have no trouble accessing that level 7 for that basement Reggie fight, but they might be causing a bit of trouble there, trying to just scoop out, but the extreme speed coming out from Apple is going to be too good. And I think what the problem now is that it's only Blissey on the side of No Name contesting these Altarias and Swablues, and that's just going to go all on the side of Global Esports, and they instantly get their levels back. You know, obviously we have a level 7 Machoke, but the rest of the team Global Esports not looking too bad either.
Yeah, again, I think Team No Name was a little confident after that KO, but again, Global Esports saying, hey man, get out of our center, and sticking it to the Matang though for sure. But we do see 3 people coming up on the top of Global Esports, the top lane. A little skirmish coming through. Take it away, Fu.
Oh, they might try to push this, and Legend, I think, needs to wait till their levels are 9 before they can actually do a proper commitment. But that KO on Lucario is going to be very, very good for them. Regardless, though, Illusion, you don't want to give this Pokemon too many levels at the start, because once the Emerald Two-Step comes out, that might be crazy. A knockout on the Leafeon means Pikachu is going to be able to help some scores go through, and a perfect stop of 1 is going to mean that it's going to be a 20 overdunk for them in that top part there, and they're going to be the first one to break this pad.
This is definitely not the Team No Name from game 1 for sure. Again, they're doing a lot better. They're actually leading in levels too, Fu. We do see engagement up top of their top Lucky.
Oh, and here comes the extreme speed. Something good enough into something like a submission Volt Tackle. And I'm actually curious to see why they actually went that moveset. Obviously, there is a ton of stun coming out of No Name, but yet again, it might just be a confidence and a comfort pick for those moves. We have a small little dunk for Machoke to evolve into Machamp. And what great timing, because the Barrage Bone might just come out for this push. Crustle going down, the only defense for the team. Water Burst Shuriken doesn't really connect as well as possible, but Barrage Blow doesn't connect either, so it's going to be a trade of no Unites actually doing the damage that they want. Now Luna caught in a bad position, so they'll just think what they can clean up this fight, but that's going to be a great defense coming out from Global Esports.
We also see on Global Esports the Greninja level 10, the highest mon on the now. Definitely something you don't want to see as Team No Name. Again, it is 6 minutes. We do see the Carl cleaning up the center as well too. Again, we still see a bottom objective coming through. I believe that was a red Jice. Yep. And then we do see orange side or Global Esports going for it right now.
It's going to be Electro Ball against the Greninja Shuriken here, and I think Evo actually might have the better play. It's up to the Crustle to actually stop this, and the Evo actually doesn't even go on the objectives and tanks it for their team, and Swifty able to just give that opportunity for the team to secure, means that basement edge is going to go on the side of Global Esports, and I think I can kind of see the momentum swinging back in their favor.
Yeah, again, Global Esports, they're kind of caught off guard, but again, Team No Name with the good momentum coming through. You see 3 bottom here. Again, we do see the Alecki coming up at 26 seconds as well. A little skirmish submission coming through. Charge beam hidden.
Oh, here comes the computing crash. They're going to set up the Blade Arena, and Crustle now is caught up into it, but I don't think it matters because the Rubble Rouser will come out and deal so much damage to them. Look at that insane X-Scissor for them, and this is one of the best fights I think Global Esports have actually brought up there. In the depths of getting just pushed onto the pad, they somehow found their way to defend that and also wipe the entire team of No Name.
Yeah, also perfect math there too. I think an overdunk of like either 46 or something like that. That was crazy, but again, the top objective is available. I think Team No Name, again, kind of being aggressive there, but again, Global Esports showing that, hey man, like, you know, like we're in this to win this as well too. So again, we see Global Esports going up for the top objective, and again, I don't think it's going to get contested at all from Team No Name.
Oh yeah, it's a little bit hard here, isn't it? And I think No Name is just doing the best to just capture as much wild Pokemons on the map as possible as they look to defend this Regieleki. Then now the points are now in the side of Global Esports as well, and a level 13 Greninja is going to be 3 levels higher than anyone on the side of Team No Name, and it looks like they're just going to let it walk. I'm not really sure what happened, because this is going to be a little bit of a tough situation for that late game. I mean, Global Esports playing for that, final 5 minutes, right, where there's going to be that Reggie Alecki for the third time walking into perhaps the home base, and that Reggie Alecki going in some free scores. I just don't know whether the prioritization is the best decision right now to fight at all for No Name.
Yeah, we do see No Name trying to give it some good effort there, but I think, again, they are just doing their best that they could, but again, Global Esports putting out a really good fight as well, too, so we'll see what happens at this bottom Reg Ice.
Yeah, just yet again, just contesting this. Is there really any point? There are so many yellow dots on the map there. Perhaps playing Pac-Man is better to soak it up. But the Emerald 2-step is going to shut Metagross down. And when you're a level 11 Metagross and there's a minute before Rayquaza, what are you going to be able to do to something like a level 14 Greninja and a level 13 Leafeon once it gets to that? And I think fighting here might just be the nail in the coffin for this match for Team No Name if they continue engaging recklessly, I think.
Yeah, again, I think they're just trying to brawl it out, trying to get some catch-up EXP, maybe get somebody off guard. But Global Esports, again, being very poised and very calm and collected, just taking the good fights when they can, and obviously, taking advantage of that. So, again, the top of Lucky is coming up top. Again, Team No Name, Fu, what do you think they're going to have to do for this Ray fight? It's going to be really tough for, again, Team No Name.
I think they need maybe a little bit more than just winning that team fight. They need to be able to score and keep themselves available for that as well. Because right now, it's a 200 points difference going into Rayquaza. This Reggie Alecki is probably going to go on the side of Global Esports as well. So a lot of pressure, and perhaps this might just be the early fight for this Rayquaza, because they don't want to let this Reggie Alecki go on the side of Global Esports.
Also, again, level 15 Greninja, by the way, which is absolutely insane. They do get the secure as well, too. Yeah, this is the fight. This is the Ray fight right here, Fu. Take it away, man.
And the Thunderstorm will go through, though, but members of Team No Name is going to be wiped pretty much on the side of Global Esports. I mean, just 2 down compared to 4 down, and it's going to be up to the Lucario, Greninja, and the Miraidon just to rip this Rayquaza. And all that can stop the inevitable is going to be this Umbreon, and unfortunately, it's not going to be good enough. 10 to GG, not able to stop the nail to hit up onto the coffin there, and it just looks like Global Esports has this from the get-go. And I without Reggie Alecki walking in, I don't think there's much to say here, Taj. I think the second game is going to go on the side of them, and Global Esports move on to the next round in the winners.
Again, like you said, right? Global Esports, GG's for them for sure. But again, Team No Name, they did really well compared to the first game for sure. So hats off to them. But again, Global Esports just showing just kind of the dominance, just that prowess. Again, they're not even running support, like we said earlier, right? And again, level 15 Greninja as well too. Yeah, no, they should be able to defend this, I believe. But again, there is a minute left, Fu, and all the people of No Name are available. But yeah, let's see how this goes, Fu.
It's going to be a tall mountain to climb, I think, for Team No Name. 51 seconds to go. Still, 300 points just shy of that you need to score in. We have 3 members up, so it is still possible, but they're happy to give this pad, I think. This is not smart to keep fighting here for Global Esports. They just have to defend the top and the mid here in order to just stop any sort of scores, and the Water Burst shouldn't go through, and it just starts cleaning up, and I think it's going to be no problem, as yet again, it's just going to be 10 GG, the last one remaining for No Name, and with that surrender vote, Taj, I think that's all she wrote.
Yeah, again, Global Esports pretty much putting on a clinic. They did really, really well in this fight. Again, using no supporter, which is very, very interesting. But again, just the draft, just again the gameplay together. Again, No Name, they did do well, which is good. Again, the early game, but again, slowly kind of just went away. And then also maybe a little frustration, Fu. You know what I mean? Like they let the Leckies go in. They just started brawling. Again, maybe there was some sort of like that frustration. You can kind of see that in the gameplay, but again, good on Team No Name again, but again, great on Global Esports.
It's not over yet for Team No Name as well. They have a second chance going through the losers bracket. And remember, we're looking for the top 3, not the top 2. So if they do find the chance to land themselves into the losers finals today, they're going to be qualified for tomorrow as well. So, but credit where credit's due. I think Global Esports showed up and really played some great Pokemon Unite, and it's going to be scary for the rest of the teams watching, because this is a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, but look at the damage too on the Miraidon, 111k, on the Greninja, 107k. I believe it was level 15 at like 3 minutes in or something like that. But again, hats off to Global Esports for putting on a clinic with that backwards too. But again, that was just a really great game. That's Unite, just coordinating, taking fights, and then just getting the objectives,
Now, there is one person I want to have a little bit of a conversation with about this game because, like we said at the start, they know this region very, very well. So start clashing if you can throw back to the caster's desk here. What are your thoughts about that game, and what can you tell me more about Team No Name and also Team Global Esports?
Well, yeah, indeed. I've been watching this game, sitting and watching every single detail of the game. And Global Esports, they were so good, especially when you look at the history. If you look at the past, then again, Global Esports, they have proven to be a better team. Especially if you look at this BO3 series as well, I think on every single step they were proving themselves. Especially at the time of Grey Ninja, you have seen how they were struggling at the beginning. In the second game, they were struggling to collect those levels, but after that they solely focused on that Grey Ninja. They made sure that they have a good level Grey Ninja so that they can focus on those team fights, and at the same time they were playing on a Crustle, and we have seen a big nerf, but still them picking that Crustle was a big surprise for me, and then dominating with this. So yeah, they did pretty good, and I do believe No Name, they are again a great team, and remember, they do have a chance in the low bracket.
I think the crustal note there as well, it's the stealth throw, I think, that got changed in the recent patch. So having X Scissor maybe throws off the enemy team, and I think they had a huge engage in that bottom part there. After using the Unite move in that little arena set by the Metagross, they were able to just stun a lot of the members. And Crustle does a lot of damage if it crits on the X Scissor. And I just saw 3 members team HP were absolutely wiped there. And I think it works, right? If it works for them. And I think going up into the semifinals now, they're going to go up against Onyx Rise. We're going to be able to see whether they are going to be the big fish there, right? There's always bigger fish in the sea, as they say. And Onyx Rise, we know, is very internationally acclaimed. So whether Global Esports can bring the same amount of aggression, the same drafting experience to that game, I think it's going to be very important if they want to win that matchup as well.
Yeah, I think so, because Global Esports, they are also regionally acclaimed, and a lot of people are watching for them to take on Onyx Rise, as we all know. There's such a great team, and I think that's another great chance for Global Esports. Now they do have this opportunity to take on such a big name. Already we have ACL around the corner, and this is going to be a big opportunity for them as well to take on one of the best teams in the circuit. In the globe.
Can I actually quickly ask, maybe Tajima or Star Clashing, any of you guys know, is Global Esports part of the ACL this season as well, or? Oh, there seems to be 2 of you.
Hey.
2 of me. But yeah. Indeed, they are the part of ACL, and they are
as well,
playing.
okay.
As long as I remember, they are on number 2 on the leaderboard as of now. Revenant X-Spark is leading the charge. Then we have SHUL and Global Esports just behind them. But I can see the 2 of me, and yeah.
Hey, I look pretty good. I look pretty good now, man. Wow. Oh man.
I mean, it's not a sign that
Tajima is my lost brother. Tajima is my long lost brother.
I think at this point, maybe it's just change my camera to Start Clashing as well. It's just going to be 3 Start Clashing. It'll be a real good way to round off this this broadcast here. But yeah, that's exciting then. I didn't actually know the history on that, but I can clearly tell that they have that confidence and they have that experience going into that match. And it makes sense, right? That's exactly what a team that's playing in the ACL, especially near the top, like you said, will have to bring to the table. And, obviously, able to qualify tomorrow is just one step to go. Whoever wins the semifinals is automatically qualified, regardless if you win or not. But whoever gets knocked down has to actually win 1 more to get into those losers round 4 or the losers finals in order to actually qualify.
Oh, I think I'm gonna give Tajima a chance to speak, and I'm gonna lip sync. Let's go, Tajima.
Oh man, I'm so handsome in this camera here. Dude, look at me right here. I need double camera. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, I believe Onyx Rise and Global Esports, they're definitely going to meet each other in bigger stages for sure. You know what I mean? Like, this is going to be really a big treat for you guys that are going to be casting this, and also us as viewers to be watching this as well too. But I honestly believe that these 2 teams are going to be battling out on a bigger stage for sure. And I'm so excited to watch this next cast, as well as, future games with these 2 teams for sure.
I think
Indeed,
we'll have a bit
indeed.
of time. Start
Sorry to
clashing
cut.
and oh, sorry, you go.
Sorry to cut you off, Fu, but I like how Tajima mentioned it is going to be a lot more action coming in from the side of global esports. And again, global esports, I think you guys are familiar with Revenant X Spark. You've seen them play, and global esports, they do contain some players, some ex Revenant players. Their IGL in-game leader Swifty. He used to play for Revenant in the past, and he got the chance to play on some international levels as well. Then they do have some of the most prominent players in the region, like Disciple, like Sadao, and I think you guys have seen Sadao, how good he was with his Pokemon. And I do think global esports, they do have a bright future, but let's see how they're going to perform against Onyx Rise. I am really excited to witness that game.
I was just going to say, while we have a bit of time for production to set up the next game, let's have your predictions then. Start Clashing and Tajman. Maybe I'll start with you, Taj. Who's going to win this next matchup? Because it's probably the matchup of the night, right? Global Esports against Onyx Rise. Who takes it all today?
So I'm a little fan from watching like Worlds and whatnot. So I feel Onyx Rise, again, I haven't seen them play recently, but again, just seeing that name and having me as a very green and new caster, be able to see and cast this game, or at least like see this kind of see this go through. My vote's going to be on Onyx Rise, but again, Global Esports, great team for sure.
All right, just before we start this game as well, Start Clashing, who do you have to win, and see whether you get it right or not?
I think I should support my region, no? So I'm gonna go ahead with global esports, and
All right.
I don't know if they're gonna win or not, but I do want at least a 2-1 score line, because I think that is going to be the much deserved score line for this matchup.
Okay, on that note, though, we're going to go into this first game of this matchup between Onyx Rise and Global Esports, ladies and gentlemen. We have the first few bans coming through from both these teams. Onyx Rise picking up the Urshifu and the Blissey to put them into that ban jail. And then on the other side, we have Mimikyu and Psyduck here. Start clashing.
Yeah, Psyduck ban. A much necessary one, but then again, banning out that Blissey was a very good option as well. Luna, he's gonna go pick that Umbreon, a very good pick. But then again, we have seen how good Miraidon is, and Global Esports, they are surely not missing this chance. And let me tell you, Fu, you see Disciple there. He's like one of the best Blissey player there is. He used to play Forest once, and now when he is on support, I think he is one of the best Blissey player I've seen in recent times.
That's probably why Blissey's banned out, isn't it? I mean, Leafeon's going to be picked up for Sadal there, and Zoe. Now, these are very familiar names for me as well. I've actually watched a lot of Onyx Rise games. They play a lot of a lot of those events in those Asia region for those grassroots as well. And Cell picking up that Serena, it's going to mean that the core 3 of Onyx Rise is going to be that defender, all-rounder, and supporter for them. And in response, a Snorlax will join the fray today for Global Esports, and Apple, not on the Blissey, it's going to be on the Machamp.
Well, they took that Blissey out of his hands. No, they had to ban that Blissey. So I think he's back in his old form, because as I previously mentioned, there was once a time when Apple used to farm. He used to go top lane once in a while, and he used to do like wonders at that as well. But let's see if Illusion's gonna go for that Clefable. Okay, well, they do not have any kind of support pick as of now. So I think maybe an Eldegoss or maybe an Clefable will do. But no, why are they going for a Mew?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, especially pioneered by Fennel in the world stage, there's a lot of experience share Mew floating around now. And I think it's a great way to set up an early game advantage, having something like Apple able to take the bot path if needed, or even just the Obito on the Miraidon as well, to get those levels into those Pokemon. But, more traditionally, we have AXQ on the Alolan Ninetales and EO on the Zacian there. So, on paper, I do like Onyx Rise's draft a little bit more. But we've seen how Global Esports can play without a traditional supporter, and they play very, very well as well. So whether Cell can actually get to the backline with Eeyore to take down Obito and this Mew is going to be the question we're asking for this next game.
Indeed, it is going to be a big question. But then again, that Ninetales with the help of Avalanche or any other abilities is going to be a big trouble for Obito as well as Sadao. If you get contacted with that Avalanche, if you get suppressed at any moment, then it's going to be really hard, especially for that Miraidon, to back off instantly and to get to the cover. As you mentioned, you were telling me about the composition. I think Onyx, they surely do have a better composition. They do have that Serena. We have seen some good patches on Serena as well, and finally it's coming back in the play slowly and steadily. But then again, they have that Hoopa, and we always say how that is like one of a kind Pokemon in the game, and I think that Hoopa can pretty much change the game at any particular moment.
Yeah, I agree. I think just for Global Esports, they're going to be looking to break these pads as soon as possible, regardless of the overdunk, because they want to stop that Hooper rotation, right? I'm keen to see whether Alone Ninetales will actually pick up the Aurora Veil set, because they have a focus ban as well, which makes me suspect maybe it's decent here for them to play. It's going to provide a lot of damage reduction against this Miraidon, which actually is smart.
Indeed, as for the top path, well, we do have that Mew, and Mew is constantly struggling, but I think it took too long and he's gonna get punished for it. Finally, the very first KO of the game coming in. Bouncy finally getting evolved and struggling to evolve in a 40 flash arena. It's just the beginning of the game. Both the teams are struggling, trying to steal those common Pokemons. And meanwhile, here comes that Zacian, the perfect entry, and gets a perfect knockout as well. So Onyx Rise, they've got a pretty good start with 2 back-to-back KOs.
Yeah, back-to-back KOs, and that means the Leafeons are actually missing out on these birds coming out on the top side there. Snorlax taking a big nap into the bush as we look to see all those experience probably going to go on the side of Onyx Rise, considering they have 3 level 5 now as opposed to 2. And I think Zacian wants a little bit more. Eeyore, yet again, window shopping perhaps, but the Eevil are going to go through. It's just not going to be enough damage, though, to take it out, and that's just the beauty of the Hooper and the Hooper portals.
Indeed, and we were just talking about this only, that how those Hoopa portals are going to change the game, and this is just the beginning. As the game approaches, as the game progresses, those Hoopa portals are going to be a lot more lethal, and they're going to impact the game on a whole different level. But as of now, I think Cell is doing wonders. He's already got like 2 KOs, and he's going all in. Cell is on. Cell is on that Serena, and indeed he's doing great with that triple XL. We have seen a recent buff too, and I remember you guys were discussing this only, how the previous arena we have seen was on Stomp and not on that triple XL. But I think Cell, he just heard you guys, and he's on that triple XL now. Look at that! Leafeon. Well, he had to pull out that Unite just to survive. At least he got a knockout in the process. Indeed, he did. Miraidon in the game as well. And I think it is going to be a good push from the side of Global Esports. They are going all in. But that Serena is a big challenge.
Serena level 7 and then a level 5 Machoke just really means that they're going to have that great level advantage and also damage advantage, right? We have obviously the Miraidon trying to poke it out, but right now Serena's just running through the entire time. Cell is just not afraid at all, and I think the health regeneration that you get from Triple Axel is really going to keep them sustained in a lot of these fights, and if things really go dire, we have the Umbreon there to help them out and support them in that aspect. But submission, level 6 Machoke trying to do something here. We have the Snorlax getting taken out, the charge beam coming through, but yet again, Zoe is just so good on this portal to make sure that their Pokemon don't go down. They do go down in that process, but, we still have a level 8, well, 3 levels 8 on the side of Onyx Rise.
Indeed, having Hoopa on your side is like having multiple lifelines. But finally, Global Esports, they do have a pretty good chance of getting that Ragey Leaky, and they're going to secure that Ragey Leaky, the 6th teammate on board. Defending this top goalpost is going to be a hassle, and okay, they're going to just back off. Okay, you can take the goalpost, you can score as many goals as you want. We're focused on that Ragey Steel. That Ragey Steel Serena is here. They're going to land those final blows, and Snorlax just a little bit late. Just a tiny bit late, to go for the final hit. But with this, it's a 110 and 114 scoreline, and I think it is pretty good, considering the amount of KOs we have seen. Global Esports, they are somehow standing up to Onyx Esports.
actually played that really, really well, especially that Regieleki. They were pushed back for the better part of that top fight, but they were able to come back and take it. Now, Leafeon just caught out in no man's land, gets KO'd from the snow globe. Obviously, the levels now going more on the side of Onyx Rise still, but having a level 11 Leafeon going down to Onyx Rise is probably not what you want to do. As I say, the Zacian will be able to provide Machamp level 10 as well, so both these teams are scrambling to give each other levels, it seems.
Indeed, both the teams are trying to grab each other's Pokemon as as much as possible. They're trying to get those KOs. They're trying to steal those farms. And right now, global esports, they are a bit on front foot. Trying to just roaming around that legendary pit, trying to find someone. Meanwhile, that Hoopa, he is at his best time. He is living his life right now, poking around, backing off in no time, also helping his team to survive. Meanwhile, Machamp gonna back off as soon as possible with the help of that Mew. And global esports, nothing seems to be working out for them. Well, as of now, they have not won even a single fight, like a fully fledged fight.
I think they won the top one, didn't they, to get that Regieleki, but apart from that, I do agree, they're going to be on the back foot here, as the Midnight Prime is going to go through, knocks out Machamp instantly, and the Porter's going to be able to give that Umbreon and the rest of the team enough HP to actually take out the rest of this fight. The block will come through to push through, but Serena going down as well means Global Esports, this might be the one that you're talking about, a fight that they can potentially win. Regieleki will go on the side of Onyx Rise though, but is there enough power, enough gas for Onyx Rise to actually push this?
Oh no, they're gonna have to back off because they had like no other option. There was a 3v5 fight, and global esports, they were ready to come in. They were ready to get those KOs. But finally, it's a 5-man push coming in. Maybe no, Zacian is on the top, and we do have Machamp there, so we might see a 1v1 on the top as well. Meanwhile, on the bottom path, we do have a fight coming in. Snorlax will try to get some knockouts, but then again. That Hoopa once again coming into play. Ninetales struggling a bit. Avalanche in the play once again. And this time it's gonna be really hard for that Snorlax to survive. But then again, he did got that Citrus Berry and he's gonna utilize it fully. But no, there's no survival whatsoever for him. Serena is here too. Although I think...
Sorry, we might have lost Start Clashing in that process. The match was too fiery, I think, for the internet, so we'll take over a little bit here. We have Hooper, Zoe just looking to get some vision in that top path there. Having a look at the scores, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have it in the side of Global Esports Steel. So they've really taken the mid game very, very well. And with a level 13 Leafeon, I mean, the damage they can do with the Emerald 2-step is going to be very important to see what they can take out. Something like the Alolan Ninetales, which is actually not running the Aurora Veil set at all. They're playing the Ice Push with the Blizzard Avalanche. So I don't think it's going to be a problem for Apple at all, and I don't see a real problem for any of the team as long as they can flank around the side of the war. Regardless, maybe they're just trying to show off the skin.
Yeah, and both the teams are, just preparing for the final fight at this point because we all know the final stretch is just 20 seconds away, and both the teams, they do have like pretty good levels. We do have a level 14 Leafeon, and I am afraid of a level 14 Leafeon anytime. But then again, I'm not a part of Onyx Esports, and this is Onyx Rise, and they can pretty much do anything. Let's see what they're going to do because they do have a Zacian on level 13 and a Serena on level 13. Oh, look at that, Serena. She's already going all in. Ninetales, they're going to take out that tank maybe. Yup, are they going with Swifty? Yup, there goes the tank. The wall is down, and now Global Esports, they are in a lot of trouble.
Oh, Swifty caught out between a rock and a hard place. We have more action coming on. Another member of Global Esports will go down as well, but things are not over yet. The Rayquaza is still living, and this is eyes on the prize for both these teams. We have a stun coming out from the Unbound Hooper onto the Mew, but that's going to be too quick. But somehow the Machamp actually steals it.
Indeed, he came running all the way, and he got the Rayquaza. Right now, Onyx Rise, they are not in a good spot, and they are losing their players as well. 2 Pokemon down, Umbreon, Ninetales, and Hoopa is all they have right now. Are they gonna go for a counter push? Maybe. There's no way. Global Esports, it's a 1-1-0 versus 375, a huge lead for Global Esports, and they're gonna take down that Hoopa as well. Well, Hoopa had an amazing opportunity because he can pretty much call the teammates if he had his Unite move, that is. That could have been a very good asset for the team. But right now, just 50 seconds on the clock, and Fu, it seems impossible to make a comeback from this point.
It's definitely going to be difficult as the time takes down. We do have Unite moves advantage on the side of Onyx Rise, though. So I think if they had a little more time, perhaps this is possible. But with the fact that there are two members of Global Esports still having Shield to deal with on the side of Onyx Rise there, I think it's going to be a little bit hard. Time's ticking down. The Leafeon's looking to get another 100, if possible. I think even if they stop this, there's no more firepower, right? Looking at the top part there, it's going to be a lot of Ninetales against 3 members of Global Esports. And with Leafeon going down as well, I think all is said and done for this game. It's going to go on the side of Global Esports, and what a fantastic way to win.
Indeed, what a fantastic way to win, and it all goes to that Machamp, the way he took his chances, and then again, you have to strike if you wanna get that final strike, if you want that final hit. But with this, you've got our very first victors. It is Global Esports with a 1-0 lead. Although Onyx Rise, they were pretty close, and if only they had maybe 30-40 seconds. 30-40 more seconds, they could have gone for a proper counter push, and maybe the story could have been a lot different. But right now, it's Global Esports, and it is all thanks to Apple. The final strike came in from his side. That was perfect. That was flawless. And he came in between like 4 Pokemon, I believe. There were like 4 Pokemon from the side of Onyx Esports. Taking on that Rayquaza, and he came out of nowhere, got the Rayquaza, and got a victory for Global Esports as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the call was for Onyx Rise, whether they truly wanted to rip that Rayquaza, or maybe they just want to do some damage and then turn on the Global Esports. I did see a stun on Illusion, so perhaps the con was saying, oh, Mew is out of play, Leafeon is zoned out, we can just rip the Rayquaza, but they didn't anticipate Apple coming through and getting the secure. And looking on the side of Onyx Rise as well, I think the secure was really on the side of Eeyore, right? Like, they were going to be that safety net to win that flip. But whether they were just knocked out or whether they just didn't realize how fast they were getting knocked out, somehow, somewhere, Apple found an opportunity to come through. And like you said, we get the Rayquaza, and suddenly the game is over for them. And the first game will go on the side of Global Esports.
Indeed, it is going to be on the side of Global Esports, and I do feel a bit happy right now, as Global Esports is leading with a 1-0 scoreline right now. But then again, I think it's highly unlikely to expect a 2-0 right now. I think it is Onyx. No, we all know what Onyx is capable of. Onyx Rise can pretty much do anything at any point, as long as they do have a chance, and they do still have a chance, because a comeback is possible. This is a BO3 series, remember, so you need to win like 2 games to call it a victory. But right now, Onyx Esports, I think they did a pretty good. Onyx Rise, Zoe did good, and those portals were so on point. We have seen Eeyore getting some good KOs as well, and we have seen Cell. I think Cell got so many KOs, and at such crucial times, so it was really hard for Global Esports to stand up to him.
I agree, and I think the Serena change, maybe the Unite move, not able to unite everybody, just nerfs it a little bit, but I do still think the triple axle is such a great pick, and such a better move now, going up against some of these players that like to get really in your face, such as that Machamp, Snorlax, and also that Leafeon as well. I don't think they're going to be too disappointed. I think it was just 8 minutes of nice gameplay, but just 2 minutes of a little bit of a, looser, maybe a bit more complacency in that fight. I think, like you said, because they're so experienced, this loss is really not going to cost them too much. They're going to go back to the drawing board and come up with a way to take the game number 2 and send it to a game number 3 if they can. But I totally understand that you're very, very happy at the moment, because this is your region, right? This is a team that's very prominent in your region. And if they can take it against Onyx Rise, that's going to be a shock tonight.
Yeah, indeed, it is going to be a shocker. But then again, it's a bit surprising. But at the same time, I am feeling a bit proud for the team, because they did great, and the way they took on Onyx Rise. Perfectly done, especially to Apple. The way he came running around, and like you mentioned, right, Onyx Rise, they were not at all expecting him They could have easily stopped him if even they had like the slightest of the idea, but they were not expecting something like this. And he came, he has gone a bit overboard. But then again, you'll have to do such things if you wanna win against the best in the world. We can simply say Onyx Rise, they are like one of the best in the world, and they have proven that to us, that to everyone. But as for the second game, the bans are pretty much same. We have a Psyduck ban, a Blissey ban, a Mimikyu ban, but a Leafeon ban as well. Global Esports, okay, they took that Zacian. Okay, let's see how they're gonna do with that Zacian.
Yeah, they take more than the Zacian here. They also take the Miraidon as well. So, I mean, double EX mons, right, going on the side of Global Esports. And that's going to leave Eeyore on the Urshifu and Zoe picking up the Umbreon as well. We have more of a defensive kind of comp for Onyx Rise. Their Trevenant coming up online as well. And having the fact that Assault Vest is now very popular between the defenders, again, something like Miraidon, really makes sense. And I think it's great, right, because normally we think about Assault Vest, we think about those random solo teammates that put it on some random Pokemon. But, you know, Illuna really putting it to good use here, because if they know they can tank the majority of that Charge Beam, they're going to be able to stay in the fight and fight against something like the Zacian that Sadal has brought through, or Apple on the Blaziken.
Indeed. Let's see how it goes. Okay, finally a Chandelier in the play, and I really was waiting for a Chandelier to come in the play, and finally EXQ, he's gonna show us some Chandelier action as well as Apple. Well, let's see. I was wondering if Apple's gonna go back to his support role. Quite recently, I've seen Apple playing on support. I've seen him play on not only on a Blissey, but I think I've seen him on an Eldegoss as well as a Wigglytuff, and he really surprised me there. But now he is coming up with a Blaziken. Let's see how he's gonna do, because he was the star of the first game, no doubt. It's only because of his Machamp that Global Esports got the victory. But let's see how they're gonna do this time, especially with Cell on a Dodrio. Cell was pretty much unbeatable on that Serena, and I think he's gonna do better with a Dodrio.
I'm curious to see whether they're going to pick the agility move that's actually been buffed out recently. The cooldown's now much faster for it, as well as Drill Peck as well. Or they're going to go for the Tri Attack. I mean, regardless, the task is the same, right? They want to take down Obito on the Miraidon there and really nerf any sort of damage coming out from it. Eeyore having that Unite move is also going to be great. Now, Apple actually has a better secure Pokemon here compared to the Machamp. Because Blaziken is one of the best one, right? And paired up with the Sovereign Sword of Sadal, I think if it does come to a flip, I'm going to be favoring Global Esports here.
Well, let's see how they're going to utilize that, right? Because I think, as we all know, Onyx, they were on that Zacian previously, and they did pretty good with the Zacian during all the fights, like you mentioned. Like the first 8 minutes were flawless for them as well. Things went a bit north during the final 2 minutes. But let's see, let the game begin. This is going to be the second game of this BO3 series. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, Global Esports, they're already leading with a 1-0 scoreline. Well, Zacian, he's gonna go all in, gonna get that Zatu as soon as possible, and those buffs. My eyes are totally on that Miraidon as well as that Zacian, because I think these two Pokemon, they have like all it takes, and I do want to see how Onyx Rise, they're gonna counter that Miraidon, because if you can simply put a full stop on that Miraidon since the beginning, you can pretty much put a full stop on the firepower of Global Esports.
I think that's definitely the goal for Onyx Rise here, to try to really just suppress this Miraidon, right? Now, I'm interested to see why there wasn't an initial invade into that Cubfu. I think Leafeon probably, Glossifer could probably can do something about that, but they're actually going to allow the Cubfu to come into an evolved Urshifu for this ambush here, and 10 seconds to go for these birds.
And finally, the very first knockout of the game coming in as well in the form of Litwick. I was not expecting a knockout this early on. That too from the side of Global Esports. Let's see.
Finally, and a 3v3 action.
No. They're just avoiding fight at the moment.
Yeah, I think for Combuskin, you want to get your Blaziken evolution first, right? Before you go up against something like, Shifu. Especially a Wicked Blow single striker Shifu that can really just knock you out of the park instantly. Obviously, Luna still looking for that level 5 as well, as people are just dancing around these neutral farms. Whoever can get some of these farms early on is going to send them into a little bit of a tiny advantage before those 8-minute birds as well. AXQ, still looking for that level 5 as well. So I think Onyx is still needing that, a little bit more time to come online in order to actually do a good fight.
Yeah, Apple is struggling a bit, and he's trying to get those mutual farm. But look at Dodrio making sure that he is stopping him. Zacian, the perfect entry coming in. Shifu is gonna get that those 750 Altaria Swablues at the mid, and right now Onyx Rise, they are looking very good with a level 7 Shifu, and a level 7 Shifu can pretty much finish off a level 6 Combuscan in no time, and that is what's gonna happen, although the KO goes to that Chandelier. Onyx Rise, that's a pretty good start for them in terms of levels. And Shifu, look at that! They've got that Snorlax as well. I think he's been a bit reckless. Had to pay for it, no doubt. Look at those citrus berries. Onyx Rise going all in. I think it's a bit of a mistake. Although they've got that Zacian, I think Umbreon is gonna get.
It's very difficult, I think. Now the Blaziken is going to come alive, maybe a little bit easier to help them get some knockouts there. No one is looking at AXQ at the moment. They don't have the capacity to. But with just a few more levels coming up, perhaps we have a Blaziken that can actually access the back line of the team. Shifu, no Unite yet, but has the Wicked Blow to contest this Regieleki rip. We have the Charge Beam possibly come through. The Overheat. It's going to be good enough. And the Shifu has to just run away here. Or maybe trying to get a KO on the Snorlax. Yes, they do. Oh, maybe there's an opportunity here for a knockout, but misses the Wicked Blow.
He did, and I think Regieleki helps the team as well. As we see here, Regieleki is like the 6th teammate, and he is doing wonders as well right now. Global Esports, well, they do have the Regieleki on the side. They're trying to push it in, although they are utterly unsuccessful right now. Apple, back off as soon as possible. That's the right thing to do. Over-aggressing is not the thing, because we do have that Shifu, and he can come back at any moment. Well, as soon as he got a glance of that Shifu, the first thing Blaziken did was like back off as soon as possible. Oh, a triple trample. Can you get that Miraidon, back off. Maybe get a citrus berry. No. Very good KO coming up from the side of Dodrio as well, and he's gonna survive the situation pretty easy.
Yeah, that's a masterful gameplay from Cell there. Just looking like things were looking dire, but with that triple trample, like you said, able to get them that gauge up for the speed, and then able to pick out a Miraidon. When you come that close to a Miraidon, they're going to be knocked out by something like Urshifu. And, oh my god, yeah, as I say this, Urshifu will be able to knock out the Zacian there. And, yeah, I mean, just pure domination now, yet again. Now Blaziken level 10 and nearly level 11 start clashing. That's going to mean, Aminux's not going to stop it if we have something like Overheat up. It's so scary walking through something like a Blaziken.
Indeed, it is so scary, but at the same time, the Shifu is no joke, especially considering the trainer with that. So yeah, it's going to be a big task, even for that Blaziken to get some good KOs. He's getting some KOs, but at the same time, as soon as that Shifu is in the play, you need to be a bit more careful, because the Shifu can wonders. And remember, the Shifu is already on level 11. Dodrio is on level 11 as well. And I think these levels that Onyx Rise has right now. Oh, another triple trample. And 2 triple tramples within a span of minutes. Well, Miraidon, he is trying to utilize a charge beam with a safe distance. Snorlax, let's see how long he's going to survive. But I think that Miraidon can deal a lot of damage. Is it going to be a push? Yup. Onyx Rise, they are going for a push. And Global Esports, well, finally, just a bit late. Oh, Blaziken, maybe he can get some knockouts. Well, he got one. He won't be able to get the second one, because Chandelier is simply so powerful.
With the Zacian, it's going to be very hard, and I don't think the Zacian can be available in the bottom side as well. Shifu using that Ebon Fist, but somehow, so they're able to get out of that engagement with the Snorlax there. preserving their own life. And just looking at the scoreline, it is still on the side of Onyx Rise now. So this is really a turn of the tables right from that first game here. Onyx Rise has that early lead and they don't want to give it up at all, considering this is a do or die game, right? They need to be able to win this to stay in the winners. If not, they're going to go back down to the losers and potentially having to play back into the winners there through that finals. Looking at a Reg Ice here, let's see whether the Sonic can actually contest this.
And they're gonna get that Reg Ice in no time. No contest whatsoever from the side of Global Esports. The difference is simply too much right now because Onyx Rise, they're like too calculated since the beginning of the game. Finally, Dotrio might go down, but no, he's gonna survive once again. And Cell showing us what he's capable of. Miraidon with the Unite, but still Cell, he's just out of his reach. Zacian in the play too. Dotrio backs off, but still Global Esports, they are getting some good chaos and this could be their chance. It's a 3-man down and they're gonna get some good goals on the bottom tier 1 as well. So that was a pretty good fight from the side of Global Esports, and I think the first of its kind in this game, this could give them some kind of confidence.
Yeah, while that was happening, Aluna did manage to get a 40 into that tier 2 pad on the top path there. So the scores are still very heavily favored inside of Onyx Rise, but here comes a secure 1 for 1, 2 for 2. That's going to be Blaziken to secure that from them.
Wow.
And a little bit more as well, as members of Onyx Rise will be dropping down there.
Oh, look at that.
Through, but gets shoved immediately, start clashing. And I think with a perfect 2 score there, there's going to be another overdunk. Oh, they actually just scored a 26, so looks like they weren't looking for that at all. They want to set up for this Rayquaza fight.
Well, hands down, Apple, this man is so good, man. Whatever Pokemon he plays, he's just so good with that Blaziken. The final hit was perfect and those follow-up KOs as well. But it's time to back off because Trevenant is here. It's time for the Rayquaza fight as well. And Global Esports, they are going all in. Onyx Rise, well, they do have a man advantage. They've got like 2 KOs. There comes Shifu, gets the third one, and out of nowhere, Onyx Rise, they're gonna just destroy the whole of Global Esports. It's all down to that Miraidon and Snorlax now. Miraidon with the Unite move. Rayquaza is melting Onyx Rise. They're super close to get that Rayquaza, and yes, they're gonna get that Rayquaza without a miss this time. No, unlike the first one where we got that Machamp Steam.
Just the get-go, having a knockout on the Zacian there with the Urshifu just meant that one of the best secures for Global Esports is not there, right? We have a lot of damage that can come through from a Miraidon, but there's just no secure potential against something like a Flamethrower Chandelure. When it comes to shove, right, you have 4 members of Onyx Rise against 1 member. That is a tall order to try to secure.
Ooh, wow, Onyx Rise and... man, they're taking their revenge. Look at the scoreline difference. It's like humongous. It's a lot bigger than the previous one. And Onyx Rise, well, they made sure this time there's like no one that can steal the Rayquaza, that can just snatch that Rayquaza out of the league. And now we do have the winners of the second game because there's no time, like only 35 seconds on the clock. And Onyx Rise is still in the man advantage. And they're just... going all in, man. Look at that. They're still getting those KOs and getting those goals. What are they up to? Are they going for 1,000 goal scoreline maybe?
With those team wipe there, I think it really sends a message, right, to Global Esports that they are here to win this game. And because they lost the first one, I think it's extra sweet for them to be able to win this one pretty dominantly. And I think now the pressure now on the side of Global Esports are what are they going to be able to come up for this third game. And, you know, whether it is banning certain mons or switching up the draft, it's clear to see that both these teams, it's a tug of war, right? They both want it, and one apiece start clashing. Who's going to be able to take the third?
I have like no, I'm not gonna speculate anything because it is a very close matchup, and the way Onyx Rise played in this game, that's like out of the world. Fu, we have seen how Global Esports, I think they started dominating from like 6-minute mark or something. Just prior to the final stretch, Global Esports, they are keen to fight. They were seeking those fights, and they were getting some KOs as well. But as soon as we have seen that Rayquaza out of nowhere, we've seen a big fight rising up at the legendary pit, and the next thing I saw was 2 of the Global Esports Pokemon are down, and Global Esports, they didn't even had the chance of pulling out those Unite moves. I think that was the most surprising thing for me, because I have seen Pokemons getting knocked without even capitalizing on that Unite move, utilizing that Unite move, and I think that was the biggest issue they were facing. And Onyx, the amount of coordination, the way they took on the final fight, each and every player, all the 5 Pokemon went in together, and when we have like 5 Pokemon attacking at the same time, it's like impossible for anyone to survive.
Just looking at the drafts quickly as well, I think Onyx Rise put up a better draft in terms of the lockdown potential.
No doubt.
They had Mean Look on the Umbreon, they had the Trevenant stun, as well as the Urshifu Unite, and also Chandelure Imprison as well. So I definitely understand how hard it is for something like a player like Apple or Sadal to actually get to the backline there. You know, you can imagine a Blaziken trying to get an engagement on, but they get Mean Looked, and then once they come out of the Mean Look, they're imprisoned. And then if they're not imprisoned, you know, Luna's there with the Trevenant, so it makes it really hard for something like a Blaziken to actually do anything. I think they definitely tried their best, and they got some good KOs, but, you know, it's very hard once you get knocked out to really come back in with a respawn timer to try to get a secure on that Rayquaza. And Onyx Rise, they know about this, so they just look to isolate individual Pokemons, you know, such as Apple, such as Sadal at the end. Once those main Pokemons that can actually secure is out of the play, I think they're more relaxed to taking out something like a Beta on the Miraidon, right? You can see, like, they weren't even sweating at all. They knew exactly where Beta was on the start. They countered with the proper amount of stun. And then you have, what? A Shifu Wicker Blow and the Flamethrower on Chandelure going up against a Charge Beam. It's going to be, you know, Orange Rise every day of the week there.
Indeed, and you know, like you mentioned, I think that draft really helped him a lot, because you know, those coordinated moves, all those abilities, that moveset of each and every Pokemon, that kinda gave them one up on Global Esports, and it did work out. And I think it was clearly visible during the final fight, where Global Esports had no other choice, no other option but to back off, and they were just running around. They were just trying to back off from the scene, and Onyx Rise, they were simply chasing them. And I've seen how Shifu got some knockouts during the final stretch. He was simply chasing them, and those unites are so perfectly done. Chandelier's unite, then Ebon Fist from the side of Shifu. So it was very well coordinated from the side of Onyx Rise. But then again, there's a third game, and as you said, it's really hard to say who's gonna get this third game. Although if we properly analyze both the games, I think Onyx Rise, the overall gameplay from the side of that team is a bit superior, has been a little bit better, considering how Global Esports got the very first game. It was all because of that Machamp. Otherwise, odds were not favoring them. So I wonder what they're gonna plan for the third game. And as you rightly mentioned, I think draft is gonna play the biggest role in the third game as well.
Yes. The games could be won from just pure draft, right? But obviously, these are 10 people that know really, really well how to draft properly. And it's about playing chess, right? If you're going to be banning one Pokemon, you're going to be giving another Pokemon. And it's just whether you want to give something like a Miraidon for a trade of a Shifu, or give your banning out a Shifu but trading out the Leafeon for them. And regardless of that, we can see Mimikyu being the first Pokemon that's going to be starting the ban jail, and Psyduck as well. So for now, Star Clashing is the exact same bans.
Indeed, they are the exact same bans. But I wonder if they're gonna ban that Leafeon, maybe, because previously, oh no, they're gonna ban that Urshifu, because Urshifu simply destroyed the whole of Global Esports in the previous matchup. A Miraidon counter ban, because Global Esports seems to love that Miraidon, and they're constantly picking that Miraidon. Okay, they're gonna go with the Umbreon, and what's going to be the counter pick? Well, you do have plenty of options. You do have that Blaziken to steal, because Apple, he might be young, but he is very experienced. Let me tell you, Fu, Apple is like the youngest player of the circuit. He's maybe 17 or 18, but still, the way he was playing that Blaziken in the previous game simply stunned me.
And I think just as we said before, if you are going to be banged out as Shifu, you're going to be giving away that Leafeon and you're picking up for their team. Cell locking in that Zacian as well. So Apple might go back to what Apple does best, playing that Machamp and hopefully for a secure as well. No, Apple will go through perhaps hovering on the Cerulege instead. Now, this is a Pokemon that has been changed in the recent patches and not as strong as before. But if you paired up with something like a Mew as well, that's going to be able to do some decent burst damage with its Unite move. Clef is there for, on the side of Zoe, though, to stop any bit of dashing. I do like the Luna going for the Snorlax as well. That's going to be plenty of stun, plenty of wall for this Apple to get through. And I wonder what the response is here, Start Clashing.
Let's see. Sadao is okay. He's coming up with a Garchomp, is he? Well, I think that Pokemon can do wonders, and I think we have seen recently maybe Revenant. I've seen Revenant playing on the Garchomp, and the Chandelier Garchomp combination with a Blissey in the play. Well, let's see what's gonna happen, and I wonder if is it going to be Illusion that's gonna that Blissey. Do we have Apple on that Chandelier? And let me remind you, this is going to be the third consecutive match and third time Apple on a different Pokemon. Okay, now he's gonna get that Garchomp. He will switch on to that Garchomp. We have seen him on Machamp, we have seen him on Blaziken, and now we are about to see him on that Garchomp. Let's see what's gonna happen. As for Onyx, well, Cell is now on that Zacian. He was tremendous with the help of that Serena. And now him on Zacian, I can simply just imagine the amount of destruction he's going to cause.
Yeah, Cell did very well on the Serena, right? They were the Serena player and then the Dojo player before, so they're very accustomed to running at you and brawling it out. But speaking of brawling it out, though, having Zoe on the Clefable is actually good for Apple, I think, because when you're looking for those heals in that later part of the game, you're going to be bunched up together, and I think that's exactly what Apple likes on Garchomp, right? They might not be able to dash as well because of the gravity coming out from Zoe, but when you have a group of people all bunched up for the Garchomp auto attacks, that's going to deal a whole lot of damage and actually keep Apple in the playing field for a lot of those times. However, last game of this set, ladies and gentlemen, we have the final possible game. Which team is actually going to take this between Onyx Rise and Global Esports? Start Clashing saying it is Global Esports. Let's see whether he's right.
Let's see. I wish I'm right. It's going to be a tough challenge for both the teams. Remember, this is a one-on-one scoreline, and this third game is going to determine who's going to get the victory. Well, Ninetales is back in the action, and look at that Snorlax. Well, the classic Snorlax gameplay, just like the good old days. He's going to go steal that buff. And, well, Snorlax, I like this thing about Snorlax. Snorlax is such a chill Pokemon. Got the buff and just wasting all the time in the world.
That's exactly what you want to do when you're on the side of Onyx Rise. You want to waste time and hopefully take some sort of experience away from Sadao, because now they're not going to have their level 5 for these 850 birds. And a Cerulege or a Shardaket at level 4 is not going to be able to do much at all. Now we have an evolution from Eevee here into Umbreon for the bottom part there. So Onyx Rise will be able to have that at least for this next engagement. But 850 birds will be coming up.
Ooh, let's see who's going to get those. Wow. No contest from the side of Global Esports. I wonder what they're up to right now. They're like very defensive. Unlike previous two games, they're like very defensive in this one. And once again, the Snorlax just waiting to get that Excel Core. This time, no way. Apple. Oh, they're gonna simply hunt him down. A 3-on-1 and an easy KO coming up for Global Esports. Well, Clefable on the bottom path. I wonder how this is gonna work, because Clefable, we have not seen much of Clefable today. Ninetales, again, just waiting for someone to show up so that she can suppress someone with the help of that. Oh, wow! What? Wow, Leafeon. Simply amazing. A very good KO. Although a counter KO did came in, but still a 2-on-1, a very good game coming up from the side of Onyx Rise.
We have 2 level 7s, 1 level 8 now for the side of Onyx Rise, and a Leafeon getting their Unite move before 720 is super nice for them, and they're going to be able to dash through and really nuke up a lot of the members of Global Esports if they're not careful there. We have, obviously, Goodbye didn't even contest for those birds, like you said, and there might be another push coming out from Onyx Rise in that top path here.
Well, let's see. Once again, Ninetales is here, and as long as you do have that Ninetales in the fight, you can simply very easily suppress the front line of your opponent. And there you go. Avalanche is gonna come in perfectly. They're gonna destroy the goalpost, and look at Apple. He's struggling to even level up. Well, Global Esports, they are lacking behind in terms of levels as well as in terms of those objectives as well. Because right now, Onyx Rise, I think this is the most aggressive we have seen Onyx Rise in like all the 3 games. In the previous game, we have seen them playing a bit cautiously, but this time they're not thinking. They're just aggressing. They're just simply obliterating every single Pokemon they can see.
101 to 41. So Onyx Rise, obviously, in the level lead, but also the score lead, which is going to be very important, especially for a 3rd game scenario. We have the Avalanche missing out on Swifty, so that's going to save them a trip back to the Pokemon Center. But yet again, look at the positioning of Onyx Rise. They're so forward, they're so aggressive, and having that top path exposed as well, it means they have so much more freedom to see what they can get and starve out this Garchomp on the top side. They just got their evolution. Zoe trying in for a stack there, hopefully not giving away too many levels, and we want to see Global Esports actually take a good fight here, start clashing, and get some of those levels back.
Ooh, let's see. It's not that easy. Easier said than done. But let's see how they're gonna just accomplish that feat. Because remember, if you're gonna just go in and if you are trying to win a fight, then Onyx Rise, they can simply take advantage of the situation. Once again, Leafeon with the Unite, and now they do have Zacian coming in the play as well.
Oh, massive scoop. The Midnight Prance will go through, but gets deleted. Start clashing. We have 3 members of Global Esports not really clashing that well there.
Indeed, they're not clashing that well. And I think that's what I was talking about, right? If you are looking for a fight, then be very cautious, because Onyx Rise, they're just simply waiting for you to show up. Once they see that, yeah, you are the ones aggressing and we do have a better standing in the fight, then they're gonna be like unstoppable. They're gonna get those KOs in no time. And look at that, Mew had no other option but to use that Mystical Mirage just to TP to the base.
That's a very smart thing to do. I mean, they can use a Unite move, right? There's still time before the Rayquaza will spawn, and preserving their levels is probably going to be most important, especially if you're already behind in that levels as well. Apple's going up against Zacian there, 1-for-1 yet again. The scoop is going to come through, but the Blissey not able to secure that. Regieleki means that it's probably going to go down. The Yawn will come through. Zacian able to knock them out. And now 4v5 in this top path there. Things are looking good for Onyx Rise, and they're looking to, see whether they can make it even better here.
Indeed. Let's see Onyx Rise. Oh, finally, maybe Global Esports. Be very careful. Apple. Swifty coming in the play as well, but no, there's no way, because now they're down to the last 2 standing. Man, Swifty is still trying his level best, and look at that! Man, Mew. The Solar Beam, so perfectly done. You did got a KO, but then again, Onyx Rise, they was like simply better. They had those levels, they had the number advantage. Although, Garchomp, well, that Vivid Outrage just to get a KO on the Zacian. And with this, Onyx Rise, well, that was a pretty good push. Counter KOs did came in from the side of Global Esports, but in the greater scheme of the things, I think Onyx Rise, they are still in a huge lead.
What a 4-man Yawn coming out from a Luna. I mean, that obviously delayed the pad a little bit more, but they obviously able to break that pad. But I mean, the caliber that these players, the talent that I'm seeing right now is quite incredible. That Regice are going to go on the side of Global Esports uncontested, but now even more danger is that top path now. We talked about at the start, it was exposed, but now the completely no pad there. So I didn't get to see when the Regieleki would go through, but having the timer on the map here start clashing, there's going to be a 3rd one, and that's going to be the next clash, I reckon.
Let's see. The final stretch in the play, and Snorlax is down. The good thing is that we still have like 50 seconds until the final stretch. So you do have pretty much time to come back from that Pokemon Center. They're gonna score some goals as well, trying to maybe destroy the very first goal post on the top path. Onyx Rice back with full force, and I think Swifty is gonna play a lead role with the help of that Garchomp. They've got like 2 KOs, a Regiliki. They're gonna destroy this first goal post, maybe. Nah, just gonna leave it to that Regiliki. Just 5 more EOS energy goals required, and if they can just simply do the exact same replica of thing in the final stretch as well. But remember, now you do not have the Garchomp Unite move. And I think that's a very big concern for global esports.
I agree as well. Not having a Livid Outrage to have Unstoppable for something like a Garchomp means that he's going to struggle a little bit into that. A lot of Ninetales. The Rayquaza will be enraged here. Swifty still looking to get some vision, but a huge flank from a Luna and a Yawn to pop the passive on Umbreon means that perhaps the zoning from Onyx Rise is going to really counter and push the entire global esports away from them. Oh, EOS still has the Unite move ready to go, but for the better part of this first minute, Global Esports not able to actually have a look at this Rayquaza at all.
Indeed, but still okay. They are constantly trying to interfere so that Onyx Rise, they cannot like go full-fledged on the Rayquaza. They're not going all out because they do know, they are quite aware that global esports, they can simply make an entry at any point of time. Finally, Garchomp is back and he does have that Unite now. I think it's the perfect time to go for the Unite, but no, Apple gets stuck. Oh, the whole team came in the play and they've already lost the Ninetales. Onyx Rise lost their Ninetales. No suppression whatsoever. Global Esports, a perfect opportunity. They've lost their supporter. Oh, Cerulege on a very low HP. A 3-on-2 fight. Global Esports, they do have an opportunity to get that Rayquaza. They're gonna get that Rayquaza and a 5-man KO for Onyx Rise. Global Esports. They do have a very good chance of coming on top. A 296, a 396, a 488 to a 323 scoreline. And Onyx Rise, they do not have enough time on the clock to even get to the opponent goal post.
I think Onyx Rise is just kicking themselves right now for allowing the Garchomp to get their Unite move back before they engaged. I think they danced around the Rayquaza for the longest period of time, and in the end, you know, that Bliss Assistant into that Garchomp, such a clinical and typical way to get good damage and also protecting your carry there. Just meant that they were able to run through the team, and Mew with the Solar Beam into the Electro Ball to take out the Zacian, yet again is just the supporter and defender of Onyx Rise trying to secure the Rayquaza, and not going to be good enough that time. Global Esports moving on to the next round, and you're correct there. I think you should be extremely happy, Start Clashing.
I am extremely happy right now. Why wouldn't I be? I think my prediction came correct, and at the same time, a team from my region, from my country, winning off our Onyx Rise, it's a big sign. And I do believe Global Esports. I've been watching them play in ACL. I've been casting them in ACL, and the amount of talent this team holds, especially in terms of individuality. Every individual in this team, whether it is Illusion, Sadao, Obito, Apple, Swifty, all the 5 players, like Swifty comes from a different background, from a different team altogether, Revenant. Then we have Apple, Illusion, Sadao, they come from Liquid Esports, ex-Liquid Esports. So altogether, this team, they are building synergy, because it has not been like a lot of time since these 5 players are playing together. So I think they are building good synergy, and I think once they spend a little bit of time together, I think they could be a force to reckon with.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely just showed us how good they are, right? Taking down Onyx Rise there. So Onyx Rise is going to be sent down to the losers, which means Global Esports are actually going to be able to qualify for tomorrow's main event. So congratulations to them indeed. Wow. Tajima, did you have any notes about that game?
Honestly, that was really good from both teams. But again, Global Esports is coming through at the Rayquaza fights, just kind of like picking just the things that they need to do. So again, Onyx Rising, again, I was voting for them for sure, but again, I think Onyx Rise, again, they're going to learn a lot from this for sure. Again, like you said, Fu, right? Again, letting the Garchomp just getting their Unite back, that's crazy, right? So again, they're definitely going to keep that up for sure. They're going to kind of take the notes, because again, they're still in this for sure. But again, congrats to Global Esports. That was a great game to watch, and you guys did great casting it for sure.
Now, the action does not stop, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to continue it. We have the semi-finals already done. So what's left is the losers round 3 and the losers round 4 before we go back into the grand finals. Just heard from production, we're going to take a quick break before we come back. We're going to have some new casts as well joining the fray. But from then on, grab a drink, grab a snack. We'll be right back. And I can't wait to see whether Onyx Rise will actually be able to make a losers come back into the winners and defeat Global Esports. See.
Hello, one and all trainers and spectators united together to come and watch a wonderful qualifiers for the Asian Cup. Fu looks a little bit different. That's because I'm not Fu. My name is Lobo. Welcome back, everybody. I'm joined by the wonderful Tajima and Start Clashing. The first time I'm ever getting to sit behind the caster's desk with Start Clashing. Tajima and I have had a chance to cast together before. But guys, how are you doing? Start Clashing, I'm going to start with you.
I'm doing amazing, especially after watching the previous game. I think you were also watching the game, and Global Esports taking on Onyx Rise, the perfect game to witness. But then again, you guys are about to witness the lower bracket finals, and Wow, I'm just very excited to watch all the action.
Taj, we just got word that one of our losers bracket round 3, unfortunately, is not going to take place. So Code Unknown Fibonacci is going to head on to our losers final, and they are going to meet Onyx Rise. So we are going to be spectating Onyx Rise once again. Give me your thoughts. I came in a little bit late. What is the current kind of, I want to say, meta that we're seeing in this tournament right now? Is it based on everything that we've seen so far, or is it just a little bit different?
So people are trying to use Serena due to the kind of like the new buffs coming out, but it's still the Zacian core, still the Miraidon core, still the Blissey, right? Umbreon. So again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Again, the buff, the patch just recently kind of came out, so I think teams are still trying to figure it out. But yeah, when Serena did come out, it did work really well. But the thing is, I'm Onyx Rise fan. Again, they were great. Again, it was really awesome to see them fight against Global Esports, but I think they were kind of sleeping a little bit, you know what I mean? So letting the Garchomp get their Unite move, like Fu said earlier, also letting them kind of steal it as well too. So I think Onyx is ready to go in this losers round 4, and I'm super excited to see them go against Code Unknown.
Livid Outrage is an absolutely devastating Unite move, especially if you got control on it. It is a very high skill Pokemon, but we're going to head on into the draft. Start Collection is going to take a little bit of a break. We'll catch him a bit later. Touch, it is you and me, and it seems like that Miraidon is first up on the chopping block.
Again, banning the Miraidon, it's really good, interesting because again, like you still get the Mimikyu, right? You still have the Zacian out there. And again, even Hoopa. I mean, I still believe in Hoopa. Again, I think it's a great map control mon. Again, great support mon. And again, they also banned the Umbreon too. So again, really interesting bans to see. Slightly a little bit different. I think the Mimikyu's got to come out here. But then that also leaves Leafeon, Zoroark. There's a Mimikyu ban for sure.
That's not something I like to see. Psyduck also joining the ban jail as well. Onyx Rise is going to be on the orange side for this one, as Code Unknown are going to be on the purple side. Ray's going to pick up that Blissey to take it away from Zoe. We know how good Zoe is on those Unite moves. We're waiting to see what Cell and AXQ decide to go in. The last time I got to watch Onyx Rise play, AXQ did enjoy that Miraidon, but they've swapped with Zoe to bring out the Trickster Hoopa. And I like the way Zoe plays Hoopa because in this region, we tend to see a lot of invades, but it's also based on what Code Unknown are going to pick as Cell locks in that Leafeon.
Yeah, I mean, again, Leafeon is such a good mon nowadays too. Getting that early 4, again, also sharing the EXP too. All it really needs is level 4, right? So really exciting to see. Again, the Sword Doggo. Interesting Scyther, Scizor Scyther pick. And also the Slowbro on the side of Code Unknown.
Tolates, I'm going to call it Tolates, is going to be looking for that slow beam right on top of Cell. Eeyore, very strong on that Zacian. Luna's going to pick up the Crustle as well. It's such a great Pokemon with that X-Scissor. And even that Stealth Rock, if it wants to do damage over time. Yag Boys is going to pick up possibly the Shadowlure, which I really like because it's got a lot of disables, and we could see the supercomputer make its way on. I could be wrong. Are we going to see a Pikachu touch?
I enjoy playing Pikachu. Volt Tackle, again, those short hit moves it's almost easy mode. The Espeon though, great stuns if you go Side Shock as well too. Also with that Ultra Beast Buzzsaw and the Armor Rouge. Again, Onyx Rise needed some range. I do like the Armor Cannon because at level 11, that thing hits like a truck.
Armor Rouge is going to be really important for, especially if that is going to stay as a Scyther. Looking at the items with the eject button as well as the weakness policy, it could be a Brawly Scizor trying to take on Eeyore with that Sword Doggo, but that Sword Doggo is going to have its hands full with Ulap as the Buzzwole is going to create a stronger front line. Interesting to see what Yagboy decides to play here, whether it's going to be a Psyshock Espeon for the secure, or if it's just going to be another sure hit move in terms of that Stored Power, because it does give that ability to kite.
Yeah, I feel like Psyshock is such a good stun. I mean, it hits really hard, and it is a skill shot for sure. But when you hit it, like they're stunned for a lot of times too. Do you feel that it's going to be a Scyther or a Scizor on the side of Code Unknown?
I'm just looking at the items with eject button, weakness policy, energy.
Right.
The energy app is throwing me. The energy app mean that we're going to see a Scyther. Obviously, we want to see that green illusion dive come right on in and do as much damage as it can. fairly, I want to say, a little bit of a squishier comp on the side of Onyx Rise, so they're going to be relying on that crossel to really pan on everybody out. But enough talking from us. Well, not enough talking. We're going to keep talking. But these players are about to head on into the arena, and we could have a disconnect from Scyther, as we do. It's not what you like to see, but both of these teams really want to make sure they're going. So whilst we wait for the technical stuff to come through, again, I'm mostly curious to see if Zoe's going to go for that invade on the Hooper.
I mean, this is losers, right? So you kind of have to be. I feel like this is the first game 1-2, so you can kind of be aggressive for sure. It's not going to be best of one, right? So getting that invade, also Hoopa, that trickster, getting that steals, getting those, and also escaping too, right? You can get the buff, but if you get KO'd, doesn't work out, right? But if you can get the KOs, or sorry, if you can get the steals, if you can just even stall out, like you can be that little tricky trickster. As Hoopa, I'm betting pretty good that it's going to be invading for sure. So as we pick it up though, Lobo, again, this is going to be a pleasure and honor for sure. Code Unknown on the purple side, and then we have Onyx Rise on the orange side. Take it away, Lobo.
Yeah, absolutely. Hooper's going to get that extra little bit. There's 3 people sharing that central area. Scyther is going to head on into that middle area. Just make sure there's no invades coming on in. Scyther's not exactly a Pokemon that you want to invade, but Charkadit's going to want to escape as quickly as it can, as Crossel's showing absolutely no fear here.
Yeah, I'm surprised the invade didn't come out too. We do see a nice KO coming out from the Crustle, or the Dwebble, I believe. But again, we do see a lot of engages coming out back and forth, level 4 Leafeon on the side of Onyx Rise.
Leafeon is really dangerous inside that top part. Zacian is about to join it with the Scyther as well. I'm very keen to see what Zoe decides to go here. Are we going to get a Hoopa Highway, or are we going to get a trick to really assist that Zacian as, oh my god, Crossel's almost out here, but no, Illumi manages to get on out as Evolutions are bound coming up, and it is a Scyther that is going to come on out, which is going to create a lot more squishiness as we're here in the top path. Bees are about to form. Dual Wing Beat's going to just search out that grass, but Zacian's going to go on in, and here is the engage. Quick on Scyther goes down with a big Razor Leaf, and it does not matter. The Hooper portals are going to be out, so no Trick Hooper this time around, and Chansey has no point but to just go, and now it looks like Leafeon's just going to get its stacks, but it does not matter. It's just going to try and take down this little pig egg. Nice play from Onyx Rise.
Yeah, I love it. That was insane. Here's a great thing too. Both teams, really interesting, right? The power spikes, or the evolutions, fully evolved on the side of Onyx Rise. And again, just for Code Unknown, obviously they've seen a Blissey level 4, but pretty much once this happens, everybody's going to be at their level power spikes, so you're not going to see any late evolutions. What's interesting is that both teams are getting those early evolutions. So the momentum shift is going to be kind of a crazy early mid, and we're just going to see how this kind of lines up later.
It's all about how this goes. Zacian's going to go head on in. It's going to go right after the Slowbro. It gets stopped. Surfs out. The Rock Tomb's going to stop anybody from coming back on in. But Zoe with a beautiful Hooper portal. Zacian really taking the presence on these engages. And what a Rock Tomb by Crossel. They escaped. What did they? Code Unknown. But they escaped, but they were not able to get back in. So great engage. And Onyx Rise really starting to feel themselves in this game.
Wow, top at 1-2. Again, what I believe Code Unknown has to kind of do is, yes, they're going to have to be aggressive, but they have to get rid of those Hoopa highways, right? Again, having that map control, again, I love the Hoopa in pro play because you can do so many things with it, right? So I really hope that Code Unknown, they are behind for sure, but if they can take away the Hoopa tier 1s, that just gives them an edge later on.
They've sent 4 people into this top path. Buzzword unable to grab the sword, a doggo, but unfortunately, I don't know why Code Unknown aren't pushing. They've got the numbers advantage as Onyx Rise are just taking the advantage down inside that boss part. Espeon getting stored out with that Rock Tomb and then gets hit with that Psyshock. Really great play as Onyx Rise going to get a free Regirock down the bottom as Sword Dog is in the top as that top path says bye-bye, and now they're going to go up onto that Regieleki.
I just want to say this, Lobo, 3 minutes in the match, level 9 Zacian, level 9 Leafeon. That's insane. Again, the momentum is definitely going through. We do see a clash coming down bottom. The KO Scyther onto the Crustle. Very, very good EXP. We also see the Lecky getting taken from the Leafeon, but that highway sending out, getting the team as we come down to this bottom objective.
Yeah, all speed on the highways. Scyther's going to drive in with its green illusion dive. Just take down the armor edge. Big dual wing beat. Zacian is in trouble, but Zoe manages to pick up the KO with the Hooper portal, and Onyx Rise is on the rise here. They don't like being sent down to the losers bracket, and they are going to make sure that they prove they deserve to be in that grand finals.
Yeah, but again, Code Unknown doing pretty good. Like, again, they were behind, but getting some of those KOs with that Scyther. Again, taking out some pretty key players as well, too. But looking at the score, though, 0 a big goose egg to 193.
It's unfortunate. Slowbro has to pop out his eject to get up past the rock tomb, gets caught in the telekinesis. There is a Scyther waiting for it. He can't be too far as Eeyore is going to just back on out, playing it a little bit safe as Zoe is the one with the central area buffs. Hooper just not letting Code Unknown get absolutely any farm on this. 5.5 minutes on the clock, remaining 0 to 193. But look at those level differences between the two teams.
I mean, again, Code Unknown, they're still keeping up with the momentum of Onyx Rise, but again, that 200-point lead is huge. I really think they just have to kind of score. Maybe when objective goes on the bottom, they just all push top because they got to get rid of these super highways. They have to score. Again, Unite is all about scoring, whether you hate it or break it, but again, that's how it is.
Big Emerald two-step coming on down and taking out the Espeons. Leafeon's just going to go and get some more scores on in. They cannot chase a Leafeon. Zocort out in the middle of nowhere, but it does not matter. That Trickster is way too good with the Phantom Force. Zacian's going to head on in, and it looks like Code Unknown. I don't know why they're down bottom. There's no objective here, so there's really no reason for this. Cross is going to hit a massive X-Scissor into the side shot. The Rumble Rouse is going to come on in, get slammed on down. The Rock Tomb, Super Swell Slam's going to come on in, so it's going to reset some people, but it does not matter. Psycho Boom is going to clear out the field for the side of Code Unknown, and it really is unknown how they're going to come back into this game.
Yeah, and then as Onyx Rise says, hey, this is our jungle right here. This is mine. They take the blue buff away. We do see a nice armor cannon shot onto the site there. Gets pushed through. The Hoopo Unite comes out through. Hits a bunch of people. And again, the team just comes back in, ready to fight.
Unbelievable. Hooper Paul going to set off the slow beam and the blister systems coming up from the Slowbro. Leafeon's going to survive on a live and a breath and a prayer with the Emerald two-step. Slowbro cannot catch it, and it seems like they're just going to get out once again. Scyther is hunting. Not a chance. Gets taken down by the armor cannon. It's still alive, but it's being hunted by 3 members. Bug on bug action, and Zoe picks up another beautiful kill. A takedown, sorry, as the Regieleki
and Alecki went in.
And Alecki walked in.
Oh man, again, this is not this is again it is not looking good for Code Unknown, but again, you know, when there's a raid, there's a way. I do like that trick shot with the armors. Literally, like, it looked like a 360 spin and just shooting the Scyther with that armor cannon, allowing their Leafeon to escape. That was pretty clean.
Yeah, that's absolutely interesting. Cell is just playing a game of try and catch me. It is not going to work, but Scythe is going to get caught out between 2v2. Razorlink's going to go in, but it does not matter. This is where I think Sizzle might have been the better pick. It is a little bit more brawly, able to hang in there with that Zacian, and Blissey has no choice but to empty that egg basket and try and protect this pad.
I mean, at least they got the tier 1 down from the side of Onyx Rise, right? The tier 1 top. But again, the momentum shift is definitely in Onyx's favor. But again, look at the levels. Not too bad. Again, level 12 Espeon. But again, level 13 Zacian, level 13 Leafeon. We'll just have to see how this goes as we get closer to the raid fight at 2 minutes.
Onyx Rise is way too comfortable inside Code Unknown's central area. 12 seconds until the Regieleki decides to spawn. Onyx Rise is going to make sure that Code Unknown don't just get a way here, but look at where Zoe's position, ready to unleash that Hooper Portal to bring their entire team back in.
Yeah, again, I think what the best bet is for Code Unknown to do, right, is to just kind of let this Lecky go through. They have to win this raid fight. This is the big objective for them. But again, you see Zoe just positioned down right there as well too, just in case somebody tries a cheeky back cap. But again, look at the positioning of again Onyx. They're just all spread out. Again, nice seeing basically where anybody is on the board, right, to get that vision to see in position how they can do again. And also the trust. They're so spread out. But again, as we see 2 minutes coming in, here comes the raid fight.
Absolutely. Oh my god, the Green Illusion Drive is going to go on in, taking down the Zacian. Code Unknown see weakness in their blade. The Hooper Unbound is going to come out. Emerald two-step's going to take down the Scythe. The Slow Beam onto the Leafeon. Bliss Assist, it's going to hit the Scythe in absolutely no man's land. Who is going to take it is Code Unknown. When there's a ray, there is a way. Shields need to be broken. Bliss's shield is gone. It does not matter. There's 2 members down for the side of Code Unknown, but they are 300 points behind. 200 points behind now, and now Onyx Rise just have to make sure that they get it in. They're still in the lead. Break that Slowbro shield, and they could still be heading to victory in game number 1.
Oh my god, that Zacian pick was huge. Now again, we need to see if anybody else has shields. I don't know if anybody else has shields on the side of Code Unknown, but again, there's a minute left. I definitely, at the minute mark, they're going to know if they're behind or not, and they know they will, or they're going to say it's close, right? But I don't think Code Unknown has any shields
No,
going
they've got
through.
one shield. They've got one
Oh, they
shield.
do.
The
Oh, it's on
has a shield of
Espeon,
20.
right?
And it's a 20-point game, which means if Espeon can get that in, but I don't know how weak that shield is right now. So Onyx Rise probably have to put the pressure on this tier 2 pad to make sure that Code Unknown do not go anywhere.
Right, and I believe that's the tier 1 pad on the bottom too, so that's a lot more closer to victory than it is. It's 45 seconds. This is pretty much another Ray fight. This is awesome, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But watch Cell go in. He's going to get a 50 unabated, which means even if the Espeon score does go in, it's not going to matter. Onyx Rise just have to make sure that they do not lose this Ray fight. Psychic Celeste going to come on out. Rock Tomb's going to stop, and Espeon managing to get the 20 in. It does not matter. Leafeon got the score. Zone got the score as in.
The
45 is going to go in. There's 10, 11 points to this game. Zone needs to get another score in. Go back to the pad. Go back to the pad. No, Blissey got a 16 in as well. And that is going to be game number 1 to Code Unknown.
Dude, Buzzwole was standing on that pad for like, it seemed like the whole game. Like he was standing there trying. I meant Buzzwole, but I said Slowbro. But the Buzz was just scoring the whole time. And that's what got them the lead. Game 1 going into the way of Code Unknown.
Ooh. I think Onyx Rise got a little bit complacent. They rose to the occasion for the first 8 minutes of the game, and Code Unknown made them fall right back down the mountain. But look at these stats across the board. 0 takedowns for Buzzwole, 0 takedowns for Slowbro, and only 3 takedowns between Mithril and Yug Boys alone. And it looks like AXQ managed to equal the entire KOs for the entirety of Code Unknown. So it tells a story. Look at and the damage across both across both teams is immense. Zoe on the Hooper out damaging the Buzzwole. Again, Zoe played an absolutely fantastic game. And again, I think they might have thought about it. Like the Leafeon scored 40, Zoe scored 20. They thought they were in the lead. If Zoe had gone back, filled its pockets again, not sure, because Hooper can't really damage farm. So maybe it was a strategic choice, but all it needed to do was just go back and score another 10, 7, but hindsight is 20/20, right, Taj?
Here's the thing, right? Obviously, there is a pretty big skill gap, and again, I'm not saying anything bad to Code Unknown because they won. That's the good part and the bad part about Unite, right? Where that you could be rolling for 8 minutes, but again, if you get a nice KO onto the Zacian, right? Again, basically, kind of like their pants was down, right? So, but again, Onyx Rise, they've been in these positions before, and I feel that like. This is kind of how it was. That's how they got to losers. They kind of like let them a champ get the KO or get the secure, right? But again, Onyx, this is great because they're making these mistakes now. This isn't Worlds. This isn't like a bigger, tournament. Obviously, it's the Asia Cup, which is great. So I really think that this is good lessons for them that they're learning now that they can take on later in the future. But again, props to Code Unknown. They played the objective and they won against Onyx Rise. They should feel proud of this. And again, we're at game 2. That was such a fun game to cast. And again, do you think the bans are going to be the same, Lobo? What do you think?
I think the bans are going to remain the same because they're going to try and practice the bans for everything they can. I am wrong straight out of the gate as Luna decides to ban away the Blissey, but Miraidon's going to be taken, which this is going to leave the door open to either Psyduck, Mimikyu, or Umbreon to be let out of the ban jail. Mimikyu, unfortunately, does not get let out of the ban jail. It's never going to get let out of the ban jail. This is ridiculous. I don't know. This is not fair. But it is okay because, these teams don't need a Mimikyu. They can play other Pokemon that are just as powerful. But also, we're going to see, Miraidon and Psyduck being chosen as well. Now, I want to go back to your point as we go through the first picks from before. It's what we talked about when we casted earlier this morning about throttling, right? It just felt like Onyx Rise got a little bit complacent with the Zacian getting caught out. That's one of the main brawlers in that Ray fight. But Zoe is going to pick up that Umbreon, and I like this pick.
If you guys don't know too, everybody that's watching as well too, Lobo is a Mimikyu main and he loves it dearly. Again, he's never going to get played, but because it's such a great Pokemon. But again, we do see the Umbreon on Zoe. Again, Umbreon's a great pick. It can be, again, very brawly, but it also a heal with Wish as well too. The Lapras is very interesting. Seeing a defender pick, again, there's Leafeon, there's there's Zacian, right? Like this is very interesting on Code Unknown's part for not grabbing those Mons.
So usually, when the way I learnt about this is obviously again with Gatlu, shout outs to him. He always talks about draft positioning, and usually when you take the first pick, defenders and supports are the first to go. Obviously, when you want a Pokemon that really is important to that team composition that you're going to use, like a Leafeon, like a Mimikyu, like a Psyduck, those ones are always going to get picked first if it's an attacker that is super important to your composition. But like the now we're seeing Pokemon like Mithril on the Urshifu getting picked in fourth place is kind of ridiculous because it's such a good secure Pokemon. But Tolas is going to pick up the Snorlax. Iluna's going to go on to the Trevenant, your favorite Pokemon, which I'm not going to judge you for because I like you. AXQ, the Mewtwo Y is going to come on as Eo's going to round that out with the Dodrio.
I'm really surprised that there's no Leafeon. Again, Leafeon is such a strong Pokemon in early game and even late game too, right? Just because it evolves at level 4 and it's one of those EVs that people don't like, right? But it's still so powerful with the Emerald 2-step. I'm quite surprised, but also looking at the team comp again, you see the Buzzwole, you see the Tree, you see the Umbreon, right? Also, again, the Dodrio, right? It's going to be going all over the place. Agility just recently got a buff too. Also, the best Pokemon in the entire world, the perfect Pokemon in the entire world, Mewtwo Y. Just kidding, but again with X attack as well too. So very interesting to see Onyx Rise, no teams picking Leafeon. But again, getting that A9 is a really nice pick as well too.
Just going to go back to your point. Technically, Mewtwo was a failed clone of Mew, so just pointing that out there in terms of Pokemon lore. Ninetales is a great Pokemon here because it can be used in any which way. We saw Aurora Veil get its buff. Just having a brilliant time on there. Pokemon lore, we do everything here at INGAGE. So I'm so excited to actually see this. A really new look comp for both teams. Onyx Rise's last chance because this is game number 2 of the losers finals. The team who wins this will go up to grand finals. I'm really interested to see how Ulap is going to go on that Lapras. It's going to be a big frontliner, and they actually have a very bulky frontline to protect that Ninetales, who could go with the Avalanche build or the Fairy build.
Right. No, it's interesting to see too. But do you also feel that Code Unknown, do you think they have enough like damage? You know what I mean? Like I know we're talking about the beginning of this stuff too, but again, they got the two defenders, right? So it's like I don't know if they have enough damage with just Urshifu and A9. You know what I mean?
You have to really think about what the point of the two defender comps are. Lapras is able to put out big damage with the Perish Song, but then depending on the moveset that Snorlax is going to do, if it decides to go that Yawn Heavy Slam moveset or that block moveset, which is actually very strong, it's going to try and peel away the weaker members of Onyx Rise and really allow the Urshifu to do big damage with Wicked Blow or its Unite move. And as well as if you're based on the A9 moveset, as they're struggling to get farm inside this top path, based on that Alolan Ninetales moveset, which we're going to see, which is Avalanche, it has a lot of area effect damage. So if you're stuck in that with a Yawn whilst you're asleep, it's going to be big damage nonetheless.
Right. Also, too, it could be comfort picks, right? Again, you're going against Onyx Rise, one of the best teams, in the world for sure, right? So again, getting your comfort picks and saying, "Hey, this is my best foot forward. Let's get to this and let's knock you out of the losers," right? So, but yeah, Lobo, as we see the Engage coming up top lane, take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a Dodrio here. I'm going to see with what it's going to go. Wicked Blow is going to take everything. Lapras is going to go down. Big slam. Umbreon is still alive. Lapras is still alive, being healed by the Eldegoss. This is probably why they picked the Lapras. Buzzwole is going to slam anything down, and it chases down the Dodrio, who does go down, but it does not matter. Eldegoss can only stop one at a time.
Right. No, I mean, getting it. Yeah, at least getting a KO is fine. He also gets KO too, but we do see stuff going on in the bottom lane as well too. But again, good fights both of all. But we do see the Dodrio level 6 and also the Buzzwole level 6 as well too on the side of Onyx Rise.
Buzzwole is just going to be in the face trying to score, and there is the beautiful Snorlax going to be able to just get in the way of Dodrio, not letting it access that central area of Code Unknown. Umbreon possibly in a little bit of trouble here, but we know how tough that Pokemon is, and I think we are seeing the Ice Beam, which is even more CC. We are seeing Tri-Attack come out from Dodrio, and a big Wicked Blow is going to secure most of those Altares. Snorlax going to take a nap in the farm. Heavy Woodhammer is going to come on in, but it does not matter. The Avalanche build, there's your damage, Taj. There's your damage. Super Swell Slam's going to come on in. It's chasing down the A9. It does get pushed back by the Blizzard Avalanche, just having to punch it away, but it's stuck inside the area of effect, and A9 can't finish off. And it's passive, taking down the Super Swole Bug.
Wow, I thought Bustle was going to take down that A9, but A9 was like, "Nah, fam, I got this with all the CC, all that crowd control." Yeah, again, that's where the damage was. I really thought that the Bustle was going to get that A9 right there, but again, just sticking to its guns and throwing out that CC, making that Ultra Beast into a frozen popsicle.
Sometimes you got to know when to pull the trigger to just get on out. And Snorlax is going to get caught out in the side strike. Going to do a big amount of damage as Lapras has to take on a 3v1 situation. It is a tanky. I don't even know what kind of animal to call it. As we've got a Registeel here. Code Unknown is going to try and secure this with the Urshifu. And the Eldegoss is just going to make sure that tree doesn't get anywhere near.
Yeah, so Onyx Rise is in charge levels. They do get the Aleki coming up top. But, again, a Registeel buff on the side of Code Unknown. So that could be really good for any team fights. Maybe that's why Onyx isn't really trying to fight right now. But we do see a lot of pressure going on top lane.
Oh, what a beautiful hollow that Alolan Ninetales is, just to show it off for us viewers. Dodrio has a reign of Code Unknown central area. It's going to make sure nothing happens as Urshifu and Lapras going to take down this Lecky in the top. But Onyx Rise going for some scores in the bot path as a Side Strike goes in. Triple Travel's going to come on out. It does not matter. It gets stuck by the A9 walls. Oh, it's going to come on in big, slamming down. Eldegoss living on a HP and a prayer. Urshifu's going to come on in. Super Sword Slam's going to come on down. Big Snorlax gets suplexed into the next dimension, as well as Urshifu just cannot go. That mean look is not going to allow the Dark Bear to go anywhere. Go back to therapy. Go back to the Pokemon Center. Sort out your anger issues as Onyx Rise take a nice commanding lead in this one.
Beautiful 4K from the Bustle. Also, funny thing, Level, half the battle was in the air. You saw the slam from Snorlax.
Absolutely.
The throw. It was just hilarious to see all the monsters getting thrown in the air. It was really great. Sometimes the animations in this game can be really fun to see.
Oh, the animations in this game are absolutely incredible. I think they bring a lot of new life to these Pokemon Side Strikes. I think that's a little bit of overkill Side Striking a farm there, but Mewtwo's got to show its authority. Lapras pulling out the Bubble Beam, which is really going to stop that Dodrio from just running rampant. But we're only 5 minutes into this game, and we have action all over the board, Taj.
Yeah, also the levels aren't that bad now. Surprisingly, again, looks like Code Unknown did kind of catch up there. We do see a push, though, coming on this bottom objective here.
Yeah, look into the Midnight Press going to come on out. A9 is going to go down to the forest. Don't enter the Haunted Woods, says the Trevenant. Mewtwo Y has hit that Mega Evolution. Big Wood Hammer coming on in. Triple misses absolutely everybody. Snow Globe's going to come on out for big damage. 2 KO streak for the Mewtwo. Urshifu's trying to hit everything it can with those hardened Dark Bear fists, but it does not matter. 4 members down, and it is only slow Snorlax that has any kind of health left, but that health is going to get depleted as there's going to be a nice big 39 overcap, and it seems like Onyx Rise feeling it is here as they are trying to rise to the occasion in this game number 2.
Yeah, again, Onyx Rise doing what they do best. Looking at the score, 217, 239, but again, valiant effort on the side, again, Code Unknown, but again, you need points still to win this, as Code Unknown knows, so again, we do see the top objective, which does help allow you to score as well too. So I don't know if Code Unknown's going to go for this. They kind of should farm their dots, pull a Pac-Man and eat those yellow dots for sure, and then just kind of play, and then hopefully maybe Onyx gets a little too confident and maybe get some catch up EXP that way.
You want to make sure that Onyx Rise learned their lesson. They look at this. It's a very smart play here. They are stalling out this Regieleki. And I really want to shout out Zoe here, who decided to go that mean look moveset, which doesn't allow the Ninetales to get away. It doesn't allow the Urshifu to get away. It doesn't even use the mean look on Lapras until the very last minute, but Perisong is just way too strong. It's going to wish right on up. Oh my god, the peel into the Hornleech from the Wood Hammer. It does not matter. Lapras is way too tanky as we've got a skirmish at 320. This is the last time Unite moves can be used. Block is going to single the Umbreon out of anywhere. Foul play is going to go through. The Midnight Press to take away the shields. The HP is just burning away. Snow Globe's going to try and get some damage down, but Ninetales once again goes into the Haunted Forest and does not come back out, but he does with a live and a prayer once again. One member down for the side of Onyx Rise, and it looks like they could go for a refight, but Lapras is in here. Heavy Slam's going to go on in. Buzzwole goes down, and it looks like Code Unknown could take this one. Mewtwo still has Unite Move, but it's 250. He's not going to want to use it. Great fight by Code Unknown.
I honestly thought that was going to be devastating for Code Unknown, but yet they pulled through, worked together, and again, they actually won that fight. So that was really great. Again, Onyx is kind of just getting little slaps in the face here and there. So again, I have faith in Onyx, but again, if they lose this, they're out. So, but that was a really nice fight again coming from Code Unknown.
I want to pull back to what you said at the very start of the match, where you questioned whether Code Unknown had the damage to do anything to Onyx Rise. So, my friend, we're learning things left, right, and center. But Umbreon is doing such a good job getting vision. We've got 10 seconds until that dragon decides to spawn.
You know what it was? Lobo, I forgot. I didn't realize that the A9 had the pay to win skin, so that's where all the damage is coming from. Yeah, it's 100%. From that new skin. So, but as we see both teams coming in now, again, if Onyx Rise do not win this, they are out of the tourney. So again, the positioning is interesting. Great positioning from Onyx Rise here, as they kind of try to see it again, picking off as well too. But Lobo, take it away. It looks like we're gonna get into skirmish.
Yeah, absolutely. Onyx Rise are still, they still have all their pads up. So this is on Code Unknown to really go for this. The Urshifu almost getting caught out here. They're getting caught in chokes. But now Code Unknown are just going to decide to go inside the Raid Pit. They're going to decide to fire Heavy Slam onto the Mewtwo. There goes the Infinite Cyber for big damage. Triple Trample manages to get it on out. Snow Globe's going to come on in. Cotton Cut Crash is going to crash on down. Who's going to secure this one? It is Urshifu, which means Code Unknown secure against Onyx Rise for the second time. Infinite Side Strike is going to try and do something, but it does not matter. 50 going in from Eldegoss, 50 going in from Snorlax, 50 into the bottom pad, and there is now just 100 points into this one. Code unknown no more. They have taken down one of the world's best teams in Onyx Rise with 51 seconds to go, but there's still 200 points and 50 seconds left to go on the clock.
Lobo, I am speechless right now. Again, just the pickoffs, right? This is great for Code Unknown. Again, obviously they're Code Unknown. We don't know them yet, but they definitely stepped up for sure. But again, Onyx Rise, right? Again, they a great team, and again they lost this, but. It's early in the season, right? Now, again, they're learning, right? They're seeing, again, the same thing happened. A secure went through, somebody got picked off. So, again, they're definitely going to research this and review this, but shout outs to Code Unknown for knocking out Onyx Rise. Wow. Lobo, thoughts on this, dude?
Take away nothing from both teams because they're trying. It's a grassroots style tournament, right? So, there's each team is going to go into it real differently. With a team with a lot of experience, they're going to try different compositions. They're going to try different things. They're going to try different tactics. Right. And obviously, if it's a team that we don't really know, they just want as much experience as they can do with probably their most powerful comps, as well as trying a little bit of creativity back into it as well. Again, take nothing away from both teams. They put on a heck of a performance. Unfortunately, just not enough secures, especially with Urshifu with that Wicked Blow, unaffected by stuns. Unaffected by anything else. There was the Alola Ninetales with the damage that they were able to output, which is absolutely fantastic. But just unfortunate, Eeyore's Triple Trample went around the Raid Pit instead of inside the Raid Pit. Cell did a fantastic job with 7 KOs. Zoe put on another clinical, masterful performance. They did absolutely fantastically. Zoe is slowly becoming probably one of my favorite players to watch and cast in these tournaments. So if we just have a look, I want to have a look at the damage, to be honest, because I want to see where all the damage came out, and then we're going to bring it back to 3 caster desk and start clashing back into it. How are you doing? Start clashing. Give us your thoughts on that match and how well Code Unknown did. Code Unknown no more.
Indeed, Code Unknown. They've been amazing, and I think Rayquaza is not so good for Rayquaza. Rayquaza is like a nightmare today for Team Onyx, and I don't know how they're going to do, because previously against Global Esports, Rayquaza was somewhat like the greatest ally for Global Esports, and same happened with Code Unknown. It's like for the whole game in the second one, we have seen how Code Unknown, they were struggling, and they were really struggling. The goal difference was of course maybe of 200 goals, and then there was level difference as well. But at the time of Rayquaza and that final strike, it changed everything within a span of seconds, and boom, once again Code Unknown, they are the finalists.
Yeah, they did a fantastic job. I'm curious about everything that happened in there, because it felt like Onyx Rise is in control for 8 minutes. They were in control, and the last 2 games that we watched, they were 200 points ahead of Code Unknown, and that is the fault Rayquaza. It's either a fault or a blessing, right? Where there's a Ray, there's a way. I remember the days when Thea Sky Ruins first came out. Those shields were not as strong. The buffs to you were not as strong, which meant even if you lost the Rayquaza, it was an open game. And some players, they wish we could go back to that. Some players are like, no. It's more exciting if, the Rayquaza is there. I don't know. I take the position that a Ray fight is still a Ray fight, but the chance of coming back out of a Ray fight is still the most exciting thing. Taj, let me get your thoughts based on what you just witnessed. Code Unknown, what do they do? Because they're about to go up against Global Esports.
So again, with Code Unknown, you got to be feeling pretty good, right? Again, they played really good. They won the objective, which is Rayquaza. Again, when there's a Ray, there's 90% of the time, if you actually secure the Rayquaza, you're probably going to win the match, right? So again, they just knocked out Onyx Rise, but again, shout outs to both teams. They did really well. It seemed to me that Code Unknown kind of went with the comfort picks again. Lapras, Snorlax, right? A9, building around kind of that A9 support. A9 did really, really well, damage wise and also CC wise. So maybe protecting that kind of that'll be kind of like the AO Cup with like the Orange Juicers using A9 as well too. So maybe they're gonna have A9 as their comfort pick because again, I think it did really well. They also played a little more comfortably despite on it kind of running amok, right? So, and that's the thing too with this game too. You have to be composed, even though if you're getting floored, you just farm up, you pick the right objectives, and then you secure Ray, and then when there's a Ray, there's a way you win. So hopefully, again, with Code Unknown, they're definitely not unknown anymore, but Global Esports, that is a giant mountain that they're gonna have to face, and it's gonna be exciting to watch for sure.
I absolutely loved it. There was absolutely no pressure on Alola Ninetales at all, especially with Trevenant. Not Trevenant, with Snorlax just in the way, just being an absolute shield in front of that Alola. So they did a fantastic job. Clashing, Global Esports is your team. I can see you smiling from ear to ear. I haven't had a chance to really watch any of their games. Can you give me a quick history summary? What have they been banning? What have they been playing? Because we're not going anywhere. We're not taking a break. We're going straight into the next games. So I want to get a quick recap, do my little history research, but I want to hear from the man himself who knows this team like the back of his hand.
Well, yeah, Global Esports, I think one of the most versatile team there is. And I think me and Taj were, me and Taj as well as Fu were talking how Global Esports has been very versatile, especially against Onyx Rise. We've seen 3 games, and in all the 3 games, we've seen different kind of Pokemon, different kind of carries coming in from their side. They can play so many Pokemon. We have seen Apple on Cerulege, we have seen Apple on Attacker as well as on Supporter. So, the kind of dynamics this team provides that can surprise any team in the world. So I do believe that they might have some more surprises coming up in the future for us. And I think we are in for a treat because even today, we have seen so many good plays, and we have seen them on Snorlax, we've seen them on Crustle, we have seen them on simply so many different Pokemon. So I do believe if they can maybe focus on their end game fights, because especially against Onyx Rise, I think they are the ones who started this whole last 2-minute segment. Onyx Rise, they've been very, I'd say, aggressive for like 8 minutes straight, no openings whatsoever. They're like one-sided, winning all the battles, but then again, those final stretches are what determines the game. Like you mentioned, Lobo, how Rayquaza Shield can pretty much dominate the game. And I think Global Esports, they're well aware of how to utilize that and how to get that Rayquaza at the very last moment. So I do believe they're gonna do something like that in the grand finals as well.
I think it's a perfect thing that you mentioned, because you could play that first 8 minutes absolutely perfectly, and it comes down to a Ray fight. However, we're starting to see teams that are more experienced in the professional standing, where they're trying to take Rayquaza completely out of the game. So we see teams pushing the pace, keeping the pedal on the gas, and they're going into Rayquaza now with 500 points, 400 points to the good, which means no matter what, if the opposite team scores an entire 500 pocket, it's not going to be enough because they can just go and back up and score. I want to get your thoughts on that, Taj. Are we slowly moving towards this stage where we're now seeing a flip where either Rayquaza doesn't matter or it does matter? And it's super interesting to me.
Yeah, actually, Fennel did that, I believe, against Zora Tigers Gaming at Worlds. And literally one of the games that they did that, they were up by like 600 points. So even though if the whole team of Zora Tigers went to score against Fennel, they just like if they don't defend their base, who's defending their base if all 5 are scoring? It literally they can just outscore with 1 Pokemon, not even, you know, like 2 Pokemon. So they literally made it was such a mind-blowing experience to be like, wait, Rayquaza isn't necessary. So I love seeing that kind of mechanic where you don't have to like, yeah, you could take Ray, go ahead. Like if you have to score, nobody's going to defend your pad. So guess what? You guys score all your 500 points. We can even just send 1 Pokemon there and we'll still be up by 100 because you still have to collect the Eos energy to score as well too. So again, that's when the 4D chess happens. That's when like the math meme comes out. But again, seeing those teams play that, it's such a great way. And like that's Unite. And that's the cool part about it.
So, Taj, you're going to actually take a break for this one. Clashing and myself are going to be casting the grand finals. But before we go, before all the headcanon takes us away, I want to know what your thoughts, what's banning, what's being picked, and who's taking game 1?
Well,
oh, sorry, I'm going to go with Taj because Clash, you're gonna cast it with me. So I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you when we get into the draft phase as well. But we're going to say goodbye to Taj for just a little bit. So I want to get his thoughts quickly before he takes a breather.
So Mimikyu is going to be played. Psyduck's going to be played. No, I'm just kidding. Mimikyu is going to be banned for sure. Mewtwo's going to get picked. I guarantee you. So again, sorry, love what's going to happen. But maybe Miraidon, Mimikyu, Psyduck, and Blissey. That is my 4 bans that I believe. But again, it's going to be a great cast or a great game too. So again, excited to see it. But again, I still feel like Psyduck isn't quite in a good spot. You know what I mean? Like people are trying to figure it out. But gents, it's all you guys. Take it away.
Absolutely. Clashing. I am seeing some faces that I remember and that I am so very fond of. Apple, Obito, Illusion, Swifty, and Sadeo. Members of Global Esports that I am so happy to get to watch play again. But they've got their hands full with the side of Code Unknown and Umbreon and Psyduck being picked first.
Well, let's see what's gonna happen. We have already seen Umbreon, Psyduck bans, as you mentioned, as well as a Shifu ban coming in. And I remember Shifu really dominated global esports altogether when we have seen Shifu against them. So yeah, it's a good thing to ban that, as well as a Mimikyu, just as Taj was mentioning previously. And I think Onyx Rise, I still remember Cell playing on that Shifu. He was like fire, so good. But still, Obito, he's gonna go up with a Miraidon. A counter Blissey pick is gonna be a great pick because you cannot give Blissey to global esports alongside that Miraidon. It's gonna be like too OP.
Absolutely. I'm interested to see what Obito's moveset is going to pick. Perhaps you can give me a little bit of insight that. Tolatus is going to pick up the Trevenant. He was so good with those Phantom Forest. Ray's going to pick up the Blissey. Swifty is going to hang on to that Crustle. I'm sure between Electro Drift and Charge being that Miraidon is going to be an absolute problem. Illusion. But Apple, I've seen Apple play the Leafeon before and I am terrified for global for team Code Unknown.
Well, I think the whole team Code Unknown should be terrified because Apple is like the most versatile player there is. I think I just mentioned how this team, we have seen these players playing on different kind of Pokemon. When it comes to Apple, during the whole of ACL, I think we have seen like 3 days of ACL here in India, of India League. And for 3 days constantly, I've seen him play on a Blissey or maybe Wigglytuff or Eldegoss. So he was in a support mode altogether. And now when I come here, I'm watching him play this Leafeon. I've seen him on Machamp. I've seen him on Cerulege. So it's a different kind of Apple, like the OG Apple I used to see back in the days. And, he's one of the youngest players of the circuit. He's maybe 17 or 18. Yeah, he's like 17 or 18. And
really?
The way this man dominates the lobby is out of this world.
That's incredible. A 17-year-old. I had no idea that Apple was 17 years old. That's incredible, but I don't know what Code Unknown are giving Illusion and Sadeo a chance at Zoroark and Comfy, but Apple's going to pick up the Zoroark, which I'm so interested to see. Mithril's going to pick up that Scyther, which I think is going to be the dual win-beating Scyther. Young Boys is going to pick up the Stored Power Espeon, and AC is going to pick up a Zacian. If Global Esports is allowed to snowball here, Clashing, I think it's going to be a problem. So it's all going to be down to how Zacian and Scyther are able to deal with that Zoroark and Leafeon.
Oh, let's see. It's going to be one great matchup because again, when it comes to Apple on Zoroark, it's been ages since I last saw him on that pick, and I must tell you, he's like so good with that Zoroark as well as Illusion on Comfy because these two players go long way. They used to play in. Liquid esports all together, the previous game where Apple and Illusion used to play. So the synergy between these two players, especially on Zoroark and Comfy, that's amazing. And I think we're about to witness some great action from the side of Global Esports. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, I think Global Esports, they are already one up in this BO5 matchup, as they are the ones who got here through the upper bracket. So they already have a one game advantage. But then again, let's see how the Scizor pick is going to work out because I'm not so confident about that.
The Zoroark's going to head on into that central area with a Miraidon and a Crossbow in the bottom. The Turi is just going to get a little bit of stacks. It needs those nutrients to grow into a big, strong Trevenant. But Zacian is going to make sure that these evolutions do not get any farm inside that top path. But a Comfy is a good partner for a Leafeon as Zacian has to back on out.
Comfy, constantly helping Sadao to level up as soon as he gets to the level 4. He could be of some use. Meanwhile, Zacian constantly trying to get all the common farm, all the common wild Pokemon there are. Both the EVs are struggling from both the teams right now to reach a level 4. That Phantom, well, I like how how that Phantom can withstand so much of damage without even evolving to fully stacked Trevenant. That kind of surprises me. But once again, Zoroark is here and he's gonna get those Altaria, but his main focus is on getting some good KOs. He gets a KO as well. Wow.
Yeah, one member down for the side of Code Unknown, but Zacian breaking ankles every which way that it goes. Leafeon securing farm ahead against that Zacian, and this is a fight that Leafeon wants to take, but Blissy's there to help it on out as Global Esports decide to crash into that bottom path, clashing. Wow, what a start from the side of Global Esports.
Well, indeed, and I think Apple, he's gonna remind the whole team once again how it is good to give him some farm because teams been testing him with all the support roles, in the previous days. But once again, Crustle, the Rock Tomb perfectly fits in. But then again, Apple, you were a little late, so. Back off as soon as possible. That's going to be the perfect choice. But then again, Lobo right now, Global Esports, they have a 1-0 lead. Oh, Zacian goes down. Right on. That was an easy KO. And I think Global Esports, they've got a pretty good start. Got like multiple KOs at the beginning of the game.
Very good start. Crossell unfortunately going down. You're right. Having that one game advantage, which means they only need to win 2 games in this fight. Blissey could have popped that X speed. It does not matter. It's being hunted by 2 of the fastest Pokemon in the game, and this is going to be experience that they want. But a great distraction tactic by Code Unknown as Zacian and Scythe head into that top path. Relatively undetected.
Indeed, but finally they're going to detect him, and the good part is they're going to get those Altaria and Swablu's all for themselves. At the same time that Zacian scoring some goals. Okay, did he just assassinated that Zacian? Wow, Zoroark. Well, Zoroark is on fire right now. He literally stabbed in the speed flex zone just to get that KO on Zacian. As for the Rage Eyes, can Miraidon get the final strike? No, he cannot because Code Unknown, the Scyther is looking pretty good, but pushing on this goalpost is not gonna be a good decision because they do have a Leafeon hiding just in those tall grasses, and Leafeon did got a KO, and look at that, how fast that Leafeon is backing off, onto the top path.
Yeah, it's got a pocket full of points, 11 points, but it does not matter. Apple is just going to score. It is a fruitful, luscious apple that is showing exactly what they are capable of. Beautiful Rock Tomb from the Crossel just to back up Code Unknown out. But you're right, Global Esports looking very strong as Espeon is just going to try and make its way on out. It's getting hunted by 2 very scary Pokemon, but Zoroark's here to help out.
Scyther with the Unite and Zoroark, Comfy. They both are gonna utilize. Okay, both the Unites has been utilized, I believe. Yeah, Apple right now trying to just back off. Man, look at that. How Code Unknown, they are like trying everything they can just to take down that Zoroark. But that Zoroark seems unstoppable. Wow, seriously? Like 4 Pokemon. Like wow, just wow.
Caster's curse there, Stacking. You said he was unstoppable, and within about 2 seconds, he just got taken down. As the Psychic Solaire is going to come on out, as Code Unknown are looking to push this bottom pad as strong as possible.
Indeed, they are. I'm sorry, Apple. I'm really sorry, but at the same time, Lobo, literally, like that guy literally wasted 10 whole seconds for Code Unknown. All the 4 Pokemon were simply rotating around him, and he was like just dancing around the stadium. But right now, Code Unknown, they are looking very powerful. This push has been very fruitful for them, and that's going to be an easy goalpost destruction from their side. Miraidon gonna back off, and the whole team of Code Unknown, they'll focus on that Rage Ice.
Yeah, they did a fantastic job. The Bliss Assistants coming in there to get the KOs on Global Esports, but Scyther's going to pick that up with the dual wing beat. Apple gets knocked down. That's the unfortunate thing about playing a Zoroark Comfy combination. When the Zoroark goes down, it's usually a 2-for-1 combination. Great triple KO for Scyther, as Code Unknown is just going to take that top path. Code Unknown playing very confidently against one of the top teams in the region, Stacking. Clashing.
No doubt, Code Unknown, they are like playing very confidently and in a very good manner as well, Lobo, because the starting was completely favoring Global Esports, but slowly and steadily Code Unknown, they're not only covering up the distance, but they are also the ones in the lead right now in terms of levels, in terms of goals. They are clearly leading this game. And remember, what we were talking about, Lobo, how Global Esports, because they got in the finals through the upper bracket, they do have a 1-0 in this BO5 series. So it kind of puts a bit of pressure on Code Unknown, but still, covering up to that pressure and getting all this level advantage is insane.
Yeah, it could also be a little bit of complacency on the side of Global Esports because they do have that game 1 in hand. Maybe they don't see the urgency to really fight this. The scores are pretty good. 25 points to the lead on the side of Code Unknown. A tier 1 pad up for them as well. Apple looking menacingly on that level 12 with the level 12 Miraidon, but 2 level 13s on the side of Code Unknown, as it looks like Global Esports going to try and deny as much farm as possible for the newcomers into this tournament. So I'm really excited. 3 minutes gone. No more Unite moves. Hopefully no more skirmishes. But also it looks like there's absolutely no farm on the map for these two teams to start getting. And I think it's going to be all about the objectives that are about to start spawning very soon.
Indeed, and just 50 more seconds and we're going to witness the Rayquaza as well. And remember, Global Esports, they are pretty good with the Rayquaza fights, and especially about the final hits. If you talk about the most important thing in the game, they can pretty much sneak out the Rayquaza in front of your eyes. So be very careful. And Lobo, you mentioned how we have seen teams totally ignoring Rayquaza after securing a 250 points lead, but right now Rayquaza is a necessity for both the teams because there's no lead whatsoever favoring any team. It's like 15 points lead, which is nothing.
Yeah, absolutely, but it's very surprising to me that nobody decided to take the Registeel off the board. It's such an important buff heading on into this raid fight, but the Green Dragon has spawned, the Rayquaza has spawned. It looks like we could get a Leafeon back out, but it looks like the fight's about to start. As Trevenant's caught out in no man's land, clashing. This is going to be an interesting. Who is going to blink first in this clash in our grand finals game 1?
Leafeon is waiting. Maybe doesn't want to know, let CU know about his positioning. But finally, as known as Code Unknown, got the intel. They are going all in. That Green Illusion dive was perfect, but somehow Miraidon survived it. Okay, that was a surprise for me because Miraidon surviving a Green Illusion dive and using the counter Unite. Meanwhile, Leafeon goes down without even utilizing the Unite. Not a good sign for Global Esports.
Absolutely not. Crossel trying to rock him his way on out. Zoroark. Apple is just trying to do anything else. The Unite move's going to come out. The Fairy, the Floral here is going to come on out from the side of Compy, taking down Espy on a 2 KO streak for Apple. He is just showing why he plays this Pokemon, but a big Horn Leech is going to stop him right in his tracks. We're going to get another refight.
Oh, it's a 1v2, and there you go. Zoroark is going to prove how good that Pokemon is, especially when you pair it with a Comfy, and then you
Oh
go
my god.
an instant surrender coming up from the side of man, Code Unknown. I think global esports. They were so good during the final fights, and I think I have mentioned it earlier as well. You'll have to be very careful when you're fighting global esports during the Rayquaza spawn, because they're
Mhm.
simply so good. And especially Apple, I think he got like maybe 4 KOs during the final fight. He got
Yeah,
Espeon, Trevenant, Zacian, and
he
what
got the
was
Scyther as well. He managed to get the
yeah.
Scyther in the very end there, but
Wow.
Apple pulling up a beautiful stat of 8. You mentioned Obito managing to kite so well, the Green Illusion Drive coming out from Mithril. Unfortunately, when Obito is in that charge beam, it is so good at kiting, and then it brought down the future Meteor Storm that Miraidon was going to do. It does big damage, and if a Scyther gets caught in that, is absolutely over, which means whew, Global Esports are now 2-0 up against in this final. I believe I need to ask production about this. If they win the next one, is that game over for this? Do they take the grand finals? I think there might be one more, but who knows? We'll see. The more games we get to watch, the better. But let's see how Code Unknown decide to respond to that incredible Ray fight performance.
Well, indeed, I do believe it is going to be a game over, because it's a BO5 series, and Global Esports is leading the charge with a 2-0 right now. Let's see how Code Unknown is going to plan a counter.
Mhm.
Code Unknown, that's an amazing team. No, we have already seen them taking on Onyx Rise, that too with a 2-0 scoreline. So
Mhm.
they have proven themselves, and I do believe they do stand a very good chance of making a comeback again. Lobo, especially in this game, Global Esports, the early game was theirs. It belonged to them. They've got like multiple KOs. They had the level advantage. But during the mid game, I really liked how Code Unknown, they bounced back, and there was a time where Code Unknown was literally dominating Global Esports. Previously, I think prior to Rayquaza fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really interesting that you mentioned Global Esports going 2-0 against Onyx Rise in the previous game, because it was the Ray fights where they were able to really show their dominance. This time round, though, it is Global Esports that managed to show the dominance at the Ray fights, surely due to Apple and the Comfy combination being able to come through. But Leafeon, Miraidon, Psyduck on the ban jail. Is Mimikyu finally going to be let out of the ban jail? Yes, it could be. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, please. Yes! Mimikyu is out of the ban jail, and I am super excited. Taj, you were wrong. I know you're there listening to me. He might get played. Let's see if anybody picks up that Mimikyu. I'm so excited. Yes! I see! Picks up the Mimikyu. I finally get to see it played, and I'm so excited to see what moveset it gets to play. Swifty's going to hover over that Umbreon.
Well, it's a good thing they picked that Mimikyu, because, getting the first pick and not picking that Mimikyu could have been a big mistake, a big blunder. But Code Unknown, they're not going to make that blunder today. Swifty gets some Freon and Sadao. Okay, let me remind you, Lobo. Let me tell you, uh, with this Garchomp, they've already dominated Onyx Rise, and I think Apple is gonna play that Garchomp. And I think you might remember me and we were talking about how Onyx made a mistake of letting that Garchomp get that Unite.
Yep,
I
absolutely.
think that Garchomp Unite is going to be a very, very important move in the whole matchup.
I think this is really important that Ray took the Blissey away from the side of Global Esports. The last thing you want is a Blissey paired with a Garchomp. Bliss assistance into the helping hand is going to be a big problem. Illusion and Obito have decided to pick A9 and Clefable, and I think this is directly a counter pick into the Mimikyu, because once that Shadow Sneak hits, it is not going to be able to move once again unless it is able to get an execute or a takedown. So that is a very smart play. If Swifty is watching the Mimikyu go first pick, which he probably was, it might be another mean look moveset. But again, if the focus is on Mimikyu too much, Young Boys and Mithril are going to have a good chance to really clean this up with Ceruledge and Armor Rouge.
Oh, indeed. Let's see how that Arm Rouge is gonna work out. But Apple, Okay, finally a Zorora pick. Well, I've been wondering after. I think there have been a patch where we have seen a massive Zorora buff in the recent times,
Mm-hmm.
but still,
Absolutely.
Zorora in the esports circuit. Let's see. That's a first for me in a long time.
It's going to be interesting to see if they counter the iframe movesets with play rough with the wild charge moveset for this one. So it could be a nice counter pick as well. It seems like a lot of Global Esports' team is to really shut out that Mimikyu and not let it do what it's going to do. So I'm really hoping it doesn't decide to go for that play rough moveset. I think Shadow Claw might be the way here because every single person on Global Esports team is way too chunky, and Ice is going to have to make sure that he gets those stacks. It's going to be a really, really interesting game to watch. Clashing. Global Esports gonna take this out 3-0, or are Mithril gonna give it an upset and come back a game?
I don't know, Malab. I really don't know. I do believe there could be a comeback, considering the lineup they are coming up with an Armirage alongside a Cerulege and a Mimikyu. Uh, if they somehow get the momentum, I think these three Pokemon could be unstoppable with the help of that Snorlax and Blissey. So a proper support can simply make them unstoppable. But at the same time, Sadao coming up with a Zorora and Apple on that Garchomp, as I just mentioned. We have seen Apple playing on that Garchomp, that too against one of the best teams there is, and he's been amazing. The way he got those KOs, and especially that Livid Outrage, I think that is something you'll have to be very cautious about. And maybe if you can dodge that, there are chances of a comeback.
I mean, you can stop it with the Play With Me Mimikyu Unite move, but it is all about if they actually let the Garchomp get online first. With the amount of pressure that both of these teams have, Mimikyu's going to head on into that top side with the Blissey. Charcadet's going to head on in to the central area. It is going to be Armarouge in the bottom side, and Cerulege is going to take that central area farm. It's a Lord Ninetales and Umbreon going to be in that bottom path.
Well, let's see. Cerulege is going to play a massive role, especially in taking out. Oh, look at that! Look at that! That Gibble. Oh, that was a close one. Apple had to back off instantly. I think Mimikyu, his main target, or his main objective in the early game is going to be to take down that Gibble. You'll have to be, like you mentioned, right? Their main objective is going to be make sure that Garchomp doesn't come online, because once he gets that Unite, it's going to be a very hard task winning any team fight whatsoever.
And here we go. The Alola Ninetales is going to come on in. That Avalanche is going to just take on absolutely everybody out, getting 4 players into that top path. And Blissey has absolutely nothing else he can do. Zoroark's going to just go in, steal that Citrus Berry, and Global Esports have done exactly what we thought they were going to do. This comp was set out to really hinder, as we've got another fight going in. It is Shadow Claw coming on in. Garchomp's going to try the scoop. The Shadow Claws are just going to hit everything that it can. Beautiful takedown of the Garchomp. Apple goes down. Clefable's just going to try and get on out. Snorlax caught in the mean look. If an Avalanche comes on in, it's going to take a big nap. Heavy Slam its way on out, but no, it gets taken down, but lives on 1 HP and a dream. Oh my god, Global Esports playing very well into this comp, and now we're going to see what's going to happen. Are both teams going to go down to these middle Altarias as a scoop pulls the Mimikyu away? Avalanche is going to take everything that it can. Big Armor Cannon onto the Alola Ninetales, and these teams are now going to chase that Alola Ninetales all the way back away from its base, but it's not going to go without a fight as a big Armor Cannon takes it down.
Wow, Armarouge, that was a good KO. I really thought that Ninetales can maybe back off now, because she was already out of the range. But then again, that Citrus Berry, trying to get that Citrus Berry was the biggest mistake the player decided to make. But then again, the amount of damage output, Mimikyu's damage output is insane. Well, we have seen Mimikyu taking on that Gabite once, and that was a good one. That was a good KO from his side. But right now, Apple constantly trying to get the farm. Well, he's going to secure those Altaria as well as those Swablues, going all in. Oh, finally a very good chance of taking on Mimikyu, and here comes that Zorora just in time, gets a knock, gets the second one and the third one as well. Armarouge is the only Pokemon managed to survive from the top path. And once again, Global Esports, Lobo, they're constantly doing this thing where they simply maybe let one of their Pokemon gets KO'd, and they just let it be. Okay, no problem, you can get the KO. But then again, they simply wait and wait for the right moment to strike, and gets maybe at least 2 or 3 KOs in return.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to see if Code Unknown can try and secure this Registeel for themselves. The armor cannons are going on. The Ceruledge and the Knights of Paldea are going to just try and secure this all for themselves. They managed to get the secure Snorlax, managed to do whatever it can. They're now going to push. They're going to try and do exactly what Global Esports did to them. Midnight, Revenant Ren's going to come on out. Umbreon has no choice. He's just going to try and score its own as a bottom tier 2 crashes. But on the top side, their tier 2 of Code Unknown is completely gone. Big Psyshock into the armor cannon, and it's just going to run away with the mean look. Global Esports playing a very, very controlled game as there's more skirmishes going on into the bottom path. There's the Plasma Gale coming out from Zeora, but Ceruledge manages to die, but the mean look manages to take it on down. And now Global Esports are saying, you guys aren't getting any extra farm. This game is ours, and they are putting on a clinic.
Yeah, indeed. This game is theirs, and the difference tells it all. There's a huge, huge difference. It's a 105 to 212 scoreline difference. Even though they just got a massive score dump on the bottom path, but still the difference is humongous. As for the levels, Zerora is doing great. Zerora is already on level 11, but then again, that Ceruledge KO worked out perfectly. Once again, that Yon Swifty is swiftly gonna back off. Garchomp is making his way, and so does Ninetales. This is a big chance, but no. Meanwhile, Code Unknown, they're not taking that chance. They are well aware of how things will go if if they get to the position where Global Esports wants them to be, and that's why they're being extremely cautious at the moment. Garchomp in the tall grasses, just waiting for them to show up, and the Unite is online, and we all know it's going to be a Unite dump if a fight happens to be breakout.
Yeah, absolutely. Code Unknown really want to make sure that they do not let Global Esports take this. They're going to push the effect on the pad. Revenant Ren's going to come on out. Does absolutely nothing for the Garchomp and the Umbreon, but there's a big Psyshock into the armor cannon. Here we go. The Bliss Assist is not going to come on out, but here's the scoop. Livid Outrage is going to come on in. Psycho Boom going to go down. Zero Aura has decided to come on in, and that is a team wipe for the side of Global Esports, and they are going to take this Regieleki with absolutely no resistance, and it looks like this newcomers to the sport inside Code Unknown have a problem, because now Global Esports has everything that they can achieve on the map, taking the central area and taking that bottom objective for themselves.
Indeed, there's a big problem now, because this is the biggest lead by far in the game, and they're gonna easily secure that Rage Eye Rock as well. There's no one to contest for it. So it is going to be an easy secure from the side of Global Esports, a 116 to 280 lead, a massive lead favoring Global Esports, and not to mention they do have a level 13 Zerora who's constantly leveling up with all the farm he's getting. And look at him, just waiting in the tall grasses for maybe Mimikyu or okay, finally his Chishan is now revealed. Be very careful of that Mimikyu. That Mimikyu is maybe on level 11, but then again, the damage output is insane.
It depends if Mimikyu's got those stacks. They very smart decision. He managed to hook onto the Zerora, did not go where it wanted to go. And yeah, you're right, but Garchomp, Apple has just decided to go over to level 13. Zerora decided against trying to go and take that farm. Heavy Slam is not going to do anything to catch that Zerora. Really cheeky Pokemon to play if you can play it well. We got 45 seconds until that Rayquaza decides to show its face, and Global Esports are in the driver's seat.
Well, I like how Zerora is he's a menace at this point. He's unstoppable. He's constantly poking them, moving to their central area, instantly coming back to the legendary pit. Sadao will back off. Immediately, Snorlax on the move. Just 20 seconds to go, Lobo, and we're about to witness the legendary Rayquaza fight once again. And before that, prior to that, are they going to get that Snorlax maybe? But no, the team support just came in time. Otherwise, could have been a very good KO.
Absolutely. Avalanche doing a great job stopping in, but Garchomp's going to pick up the soup. It's going to go in with the Livid Outrage. Bliss Assist is going to come on into the Armorage. A big damage, but it does not matter. They just got off. Reverend Ren on the other side. Snowgole's going to come on out as well. Play With Me comes out as well. And the Follow Me from the Clefable. It's caught in the Mimikyu ult. And that is going to be close to a team wipe, as we are going to see Armorage has no choice but to back on out of the Rayquaza pit. And it's caught in between a rock and an Umbreon, and that is going to be Global Esports' Rayquaza, and now they are just going to focus on sending those Hundo Burgers in.
A 3-0 scoreline in the finals in the BO5 series. Global Esports, man, they have proven themselves to be the best team there is. Wow, what a game coming up from their side, especially that Zarora pick and Sadao. Oh, look at that. Still trying to get some KOs. Still scoring those goals. They do have Rayquaza shields. Swifty is going to lose his shield. But then again, a counter attack. Maybe it's possible. But no. Armrouge and Snorlax, they are out for a long, long time, Lobo. And, well, the difference, it's humongous. It is not something you can cover up. If it would have been maybe a 200, 300 points goal difference. It's more than a 500 goal difference. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a very hard mountain to climb with only 30 seconds left to go, with still members having shields, and now Global Esports are just having some fun with their opponents. They are Global Esports for a reason, because they want to stand on that global stage and show the world what they are made of. Never let Garchomp get to its level 13.
Oh, Garchomp on level 13 is a menace. And not only Garchomp, that's Zarora too. Because I think Garchomp-Zarora combination, it perfectly dominated Code Unknown, and man, they had no idea this is going to happen. But then again, I think we already warned them that you'll have to be very cautious during the final stretch, because Global Esports, no matter what the game allows or what they're doing for the early 8 minutes, but then again, those final 2 minutes are somewhat what decides the game for Global Esports. They are just so powerful at that time. Their synergy is always intact during the final stretch, and that's why they are constantly winning every single final stretch so far. But with this, it's a 0-3 scoreline. Sadao gets the MVP with 14 KOs. I think the highest number of KOs we have seen today from a single person.
Absolutely. Zorora is a sleeper pick. I think you can play this Pokemon very well. Fit it into a team comp. It is going to be a troublemaker to deal with, especially being able to get in, get out as well, and do such big damage. Icy managing to pick up the MVP on his side, getting the most amount of KOs with 2, but it was a good performance. And again, it came down to the Rayquaza fight and just the way that Global Esports decided to control the game. We're going to bring Taj back on in and to get his final thoughts on that grand final match. Global Esports winning that 3-0 with a game in hand.
Yeah, no, that was really insane to see for sure. Hello, here I am. I'm the one on the left. Just kidding.
We just got Taj in the background. There he is. There's that beautiful face.
Yeah.
How you doing, mate?
Again, great game from both teams. But again, Global Esports just kind of showing that, like, you know, they got it. And again, they're the ones that put Onyx Rise into the losers bracket, right? So again, great game from both teams. But again, Global Esports just showing the poise. Also, again, just to highlight, the Dragon Rush onto the, I believe it was the Ceruledge, but then like forcing the Bliss Assist all the way away from the team fight. That was an insane play. Like I believe it's from the bush too, so they couldn't even see it. And by that time, it was just too late already. Like that was just insane.
It's also a Bliss Assistance on a Pokemon that really shouldn't have the Bliss Assistance.
Right.
You have a Mimikyu and a Ceruledge inside that are trying to dive. And then obviously the positioning of the Umbreon after the entire team wipe and Armorage was the only one left alive. That Bliss Assistance essentially became completely null and void because Bliss Assistance absorbs the amount of damage that Blissey is taking and then distributes it again once it hits at that Bliss Assistance. That Garchomp took no damage. It took absolutely no damage in its Unite move. Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
That was a great play. But again, great job from Global Esports.
Clashing, your final thoughts before we head on out. What a series we just saw.
I think this whole series, this whole like 2 games we have seen, because Global Esports, they already had a 1-0 lead to begin with. It was like perfect, and the only thing Code Unknown did wrong was giving opening, because every single time, if you closely watch the Global Esports gameplay, they are constantly just seeking that single opening during the final stretch. They are simply waiting for that very first KO or the very first entry any of the Pokemon get. And Code Unknown, I think they were a little off at that point, because you did give that entry to Zorora as well as to Garchomp, and once they got that opening, but there was no way out. No matter what you could have done, once they've got that final strike, they've got that first strike, most of your Pokemons were on very low HP, and at the same time, we all know how powerful Garchomp's Unite move is. And then you also have a level 13 Zorora in your opposition, so there's no way, once they get the opening, there's no way you can stop them.
Absolutely. Well, that is going to wrap us up here. Guys, do not forget, this was only the qualifiers for the Asian Cup. Join us again tomorrow at the exact same time, where we will see the finals and see everybody else that has qualified fight it on out for the glory of raising that Asia Cup. But before we head on out, as always, we have to do some lovely shout outs. Big thank you to Jima and Start Clashing for joining me on the Caster's Desk. I know I joined in a little bit late, but they held it down and did an absolutely fantastic job. We had It's Me Fu joining us behind the desk, my brother from down under. We share the same time zone, so it was always great to hear his voice behind the casting desk as well. Big shout outs to our mods for all the hard work that they do behind the scenes. Big shout outs to Zen, who was our tournament organizer, and just making sure that all of us here at the Caster's Desk have all the information that we need. Shivam, we get to know him because he organizes, he does so much stuff in the Unite community, but he was our wonderful observer for today. Big thank you to INGAGE for putting on this tournament, and our sponsor Exa, who released some of the nicest looking gaming headsets that are currently on the market. Go pick yourselves up one. I know us at INGAGE are so excited to have them as a sponsor for ourselves. And so thank you for every single one of you that decided to tune in and watch this, showing your support to different regions all over the country. That is how Unite grows. That is how we build, and that is how we stay united. Again, and a big thank you from me, from Lobo, for absolutely everything that has gone on. Guys, I will see you guys very soon. Everybody have a lovely day. And remember, don't ping thanks in Unite Ranked. It's just not okay. But we'll see you guys later. Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah.